Hello, everyone. We'll be getting started in just a second here. Hi, Xenon, Blaze Rage, Benizakura Cole, Dragonite, how's it going? Fakar, Xenon. Oh, I said Xenon already, sorry. Jiro-sama. I did hydrate Dragonite, thank you. Thomas, Elijah, Critty, Power Flare, Jesse's Mask, Quicksilver. Glad you're enjoying the new emote. PTM and Guest. How's it going, everyone? We're just going to be getting started in just a minute or two. Interesting episode. Oh, I didn't do the poll. Okie dokie. I can finally join one of these streams. Binged and read all of Attack on Titan in a week, just catching up in the anime. 3 days ago. Wow. Hope you're enjoying it. Dragonite, I don't know what's going on with you. How's it going, everyone? I don't know what's going on with your emotes. It's very strange. And how's it going, Davinator? That's not the same prefix as I have now. It's the old one. But I guess it defaults to making you do the old one? I'm not sure. Sorry, excuse me. How's it going, Vibes? How's it going, Oblivion? Yeah, I assume this will be the episode with the most negative feedback so far. That's just what I assume. We'll talk about it in a second. Am I muted? I shouldn't be muted. Hello, hello? Thomas, it's on your end, even though you can't hear me. It does slap Luciano. Slayer, hi. Oblivion, hi. I don't know if I said hi. Okay, got you, Jesse's Mask. Yeah, I don't know, Dragonite. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what's going on. Seems like it's only you. Okay. So, yeah, I guess the poll is going on right now, but what did you guys think about the episode in general? Whether it be the adaptation or the content, like the actual writing. It's definitely one that isn't, it's one of the more contentious ones, for sure. Definitely the weakest one. Probably overall, same here. Like the second half, starting from the Mikasa Luis scene. Substantially more than the first half. It's a setup episode for sure. I don't know how to feel about the pacing. Holy shit, Davinator. Okay. Jesus. Starting off the morning, big. Holy crap. Thank you so much, Davinator. Thank you so much. As you guys get in your thoughts about the episode here, thank you so much, Davinator. What would you like to put that towards? Would you like to divide it up, or let me know? Thank you so much again. You are insane. Like a 7.5 out of 10, yeah. Understandable. Glad to hear it, Jesse's Mask. I think Season 4 is great. From what I remember from reading the manga, people were not very fond of the Avengers that formed this episode. Yeah, people call them cringe. People find them to be quite cringe, and they find the scene in this episode to be quite cringe. I don't, personally, though I do have problems with the episode personally. I think I just said personally twice in 5 seconds. My bad. And we'll talk about that. The episode was really good for me. Maybe a bit fast on the Annie scene and the overall reunion. Maybe they could have added something there, but overall they improved on everything else, in my opinion. There are definitely, I think, the beginning and end of the episode for sure improved upon my experience of the source. We'll get into that. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Luciano. You thought it looked really nice, lots of great illustrations, nice. To quote Gattuso, sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit. But for real, most of the parts were decently adapted, but the source material drags it down a bit compared to the other episodes. Totally understandable though, and I still like most of what happens, especially shirtless Levi. Fair. I agree, Dragonite. Also, Davinator, any idea what you want to put those towards? Or if you want to put them towards anything? For anyone, let me just quickly go to the sub-goals, just as an update here. Sorry, I'm going to talk about the episode in just a second. Just need to quickly do this. Where am I? Here. So yeah, the Zeke video has been funded. The Hunter x Hunter video is 25%. Echo from Arcane, 14%. Anyway, this is what it looks like at the moment. This is what it looks like. Um, 126 is a goated chapter, but the adaptation was inconsistent in my opinion. Interesting, Critty. I do agree that the adaptation was inconsistent. I don't agree that it's goated, but I do think it's solid enough, for sure. And I do think it has lots of great little bits for lots of different character moments. So, in general, people think that the episode was good. 77% say it's good, 11% awesome, 4 mediocre, 4 bad. Or sorry, 6 mediocre, 6 bad. That's more or less what I thought it would be. Yeah. Yeah, insane foreshadowing throughout this series vibes, for sure. I don't love 126, but the adaptations seem kind of dull to me and lesser than the source material, except for the end scene, which was a lot better in the anime. Yeah, the end scene was great. Sorry, I think I missed something. Did I? Jean and Yankapon scene was incredible. That was the highlight for me. Me too. I agree. I liked how they changed the last line from Connie to the whole, that panel of just Connie saying, "Let's go save the world," seems a little cartoonish to me. I like how they changed it visually, for sure. But yeah, we'll get into that. How's it going? How's it going, Spirit Noodle? Hope you're enjoying Elden Ring. Hope you, chime in every now and then with opinions if you want to, but you can just lurk, of course. That's very much appreciated too. Hope you're doing well. I enjoyed the last scene, but the episode as a whole felt like a parody to me. Was it like this in the manga? It was very loyal to the manga. Adaptation quality, opinions on that will differ. But in terms of the events, yeah, it was pretty much one-to-one. It covered the manga basically, just the whole chapter, basically one-to-one. Whoops, my bad. There we go. Okay. Yeah, Zeke video. It's been funded, yeah. Oh, that's too bad, Turtle Man. I'll be playing Elden Ring later, maybe. Actually, I don't know for sure. Maybe, if you're interested in that. But yeah, that's no problem. Hope you enjoy the VOD. Yeah, that's true, Thomas. I like that too. That kind of weirded me out the first time I heard it. 126 is the kind of chapter that shows how genuine Isayama's care for these characters are, and what fans don't care about them. Yeah, in terms of the character work, I definitely agree. Like, if someone's just like, screw this Connie shit, I don't care. Let's get to the rumbling, let's get to Eren, whatever. If someone says, I don't care about Louise or Mikasa's scene, I don't care about, like Onyankopon or Jean, what Jean's saying, and they just want to skip through this, it shows that they're more so interested in the climactic portions, the big beats, than the narrow, more intimate character moments. I would agree with that. I just think that's a preferential thing. Though I would understand people having problems with like the general execution of certain concepts, the general tone here and there, because I myself have some problems with that, which we'll get into. Yeah, kind of awkward. I get that for sure. The jarring mash of tones is very faithful to the manga. Yeah. One can argue that a lot of the tone shifts, the tone swings, are, idiosyncratic and very loyal to life in general, and just the way these sort of things go, and very reflective of the sort of trajectory that Connie had to go through. Well, let's. I don't want to dive super into that before we get to the scene, but you can argue that. You can. I think at the same time, one can also say that was quite awkward. Anyway, I'm speaking too vaguely. Let's just get into it chronologically. Oh, 5 to Antag and 5 for Echo. You got it, Davinator. Thank you. Wow, the Echo video is going to be funded pretty soon at this rate. I definitely think 126 is overhated. There's just way too much negativity surrounding the whole saving the world sentiment. I don't know why people feel so strongly about that. They call it cringe. They find Connie cringe. All that sort of thing. Yeah. Anyways, sorry. The tone honestly was far from the weakest aspect of the arc. In fact, the tone is very good. The arc or the episode, Elijah? Because I think in general the tone is spot on. Conceptually, what they're doing with tone is very spot on, I think. It's just like, I think people have problems here and there with the execution of the tone, or it feeling rushed or jarring in some way. Let's get into it. Yeah, War for Parody as an arc, I don't think people have problems with the tone of it at all. In fact, most people tend to divide this arc as the rumbling arc now. Okay, so we start. Hanji and Levi are being pursued by, I'm not sure if, I don't remember the uniform. They might have been scouts, they might have been MPs. Either way, they, excuse me. I'm going to keep correcting myself for that. Hanji here is shooting their comrades. It's come to this, right? It's come to this. How's it going, Vehement? You are not late, we're just starting. Survey Corps, gotcha. How's it going, Pedro? Hope you guys are doing well. Survey Corps, got it. And yeah, so essentially it's come to this, having to shoot your own comrades, people who you have fought in the past with, people who you've shared food and drink with, by Jaegerists. Not sure if they were Jaegerists. They could have been easily. I mean, that might have been the whole reason they were being pursued in the first place. So very likely. I don't know the specifics of who they were, but Pretty says Survey Corps. And yeah, if so, extra difficult. Is a Victor vid not a fun angle anywhere because it's happening either way, or is Echo vid replacing that? Victor video is not a donation goal currently. Jesse's Mask. Right now it's just the Echo one. Maybe in the future, potentially. Yeah, Jaegerists are within the Survey Corps, so yeah, one and the same. But yes, the touch of the tear in the eye, very much nails home. It's a huge moment. Like it's like a 10-15 second scene, but it's a huge moment that it's come to this. And then the zoom in, eyes closed, tear streaming down. I thought it was very effective. Quiet little moment, but very weighty moment for Hanji. And we haven't spent much time with them so far in this arc, in this stretch of episodes, but this really hammers home what's going on. It's just not a huge amount to dive into, or not a huge amount of tangents to go on here, but it's just the fact that it's come to this. And they say this sort of sentiment later on. You go along the right path, and eventually you find yourself trying to do the right thing, and it leads to these unsavory end results. Yeah, it's a great start. It's a great start. It's a great tone setter. And our boy is not doing well. Our boy is not doing well at all. Is this the first time they've ever directly killed someone that wasn't a Titan? I'm pretty sure in Uprising, Hanji killed people. Did they not? I'm not sure. Yeah, they did. Yeah, so it's not the first time, but it's just like Hanji killed people in Kenny Squad. Yeah, Hanji killed people in general, but I don't think comrades that were this close to them before. In the cave, yeah, in the cave. That's like the whole point of that part of the story was, or not the whole point, but one of the big points is that they're fighting people now. They have to kill people. That's something Hanji was resolved to do, and so that's something that the younger characters had to come to terms with. How's your mom doing with all the Connie and Jean focus? You mentioned how Connie, Jean, and Sasha were her favorite characters. My mom loved this episode, funnily enough. She loved it. She thought it was great. She really enjoyed the Jean focus. She really enjoyed the Connie focus. Everything. Yeah. So I'm glad. And just, I generally like the scenery. Just thought I'd get some of that in there. And then they just throw in an explanation here. Probably the same reason you're not dead yet, because you're an Ackerman. It's been established before, but just to sort of reiterate, that Ackermans are low-key superhuman, like low-scale superhuman. The reason that Levi is not completely screwed, right? We didn't see shirtless Levi yet. I mean, I might have one. And she also tortured the priest with Levi. Yeah, true. Yeah. So Hanji they're not like, this isn't a new thing, having to kill people, but it's a new thing having to kill people who you were complete comrades in arms with, as a result of this. So some nice illustrations here. And then it really sort of hones in on their sort of internal turmoil, everything they're feeling right now. Thank you for the follow, Yogi, and Sam Flamberg earlier on. Thank you for the follow. Don't know if you're still here. Looks like my turn has come, even if I thought I did the right thing. Flashbacks to Nick, and then times change and you end up in a cell yourself. Hanji is seeing it from the other perspective, the other side, seeing things from the way that Nick saw them, and is very much like this was something that was nailed home in, I think, season 4, episode 12, maybe 11 or 12, something like that. Oh, sorry. Saunas. Yes, sorry, I got confused with the. Yeah, sorry. Saunas, yes. Thank you for correcting me. But yeah, just the shift in perspective, the flip there. And then we have shirtless Levi. There you guys go. And, it's funny in a way that the first thing that Levi's thinking about when he wakes up, I gotta get that shithead. I gotta get that beast. It was 11 where they try to let all the anguish but can't. Yeah, I was talking about where they had to stave off Reeves and all the reporters and all that. But that's the same episode, I'm pretty sure. But yeah. And so it's kind of funny that Levi wakes up and this is the first thing he's talking about, as you would expect. It's like there's a humorous tinge to the I've got to kill that goddamn beast titan. I got to kill that monkey. But at the same time, it's kind of sad. Because this is contextually, this is the thing that he promised his partner, Erwin, like the most important person in his life, that he would do as a result of his sacrifice. I promise I will kill the Beast Titan. As a result, like the direct result of Erwin sacrificing his life, he said he would kill the Beast Titan, and he hadn't. And he had to work, not only that, he had to work with him, and then he had to, was betrayed by him, showing that it was a bad idea in the first place, and then he escaped, like, a couple of times. So the fact that he's so honed in on this is funny, because it's just an easily, shallowly funny thing to talk about. But at the same time, it's deeply sad, I think, because he's just hanging on, trying to grasp hold of the promise he gave, and unable to appease in his eyes, appease the dead, appease Erwin's, raging spirit, so to speak. I don't care if the world is, he just needs to keep his promise. He's absolutely burdened by it. He's absolutely obsessed with it. And, from one end, it's just funny. The dynamic between him and Zeke was great. Very darkly humorous. I can see how people would think this is funny. And it is on a certain level, but from another, it's deeply tragic, in my opinion. All his self-worth is so defined by his actions to fulfill the legacy of his comrades. It's extremely sad. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, let me get rid of this sub-goal. But absolutely. Totally defined by it. I miss Erwin too. I miss him every day. And then just looking at his hand, I let him slip away with the removed, cut off fingers. Can't think of the word. And I like the illustration here. I also like that the voice is muffled a little bit. Nice little touches. Disfingered finger. Yeah. Exploded off. Yep. And so that was a flashback. He doesn't feel so much inspired by Erwin, but almost in debt to him, like his happiness depends on avenging him. I think that Levi has essentially given up on happiness, personally, though I do get that for sure. And what he's doing is just fulfilling a promise and making himself whole, so to speak. I think he's given up on happiness in this world, sadly enough. I just think that all that he's focusing on here is just satisfaction, more so than happiness. That's how I've always seen it, but it's totally valid from Elijah there. I'm sure you guys agree, some of you guys may agree with that. I constantly think about where Erwin would fall in this arc. Yeah, inserting himself into scenes and scenarios and moral issues and all that here and there is an interesting thought experiment, because you really do wonder. You know he would be committed, he would be focused, he would have plans, but just imaginatively inserting hypotheticals into these sorts of situations, it's an interesting thought experiment in a lot of them. Zeke and Erwin are kind of similar. They both gamble and make necessary sacrifices, no matter how much it pains them. To that end, you could say that Eren does something similar as well, right? That is a sort of constant idea. Necessary gambles and necessary sacrifices in the service of these greater goals. Those goals being in service of things that should be given to them in the first place, for things that should be just a given in life, but that people are deprived of, sadly. His happiness, rephrases happiness as his reason to live. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. It's kind of hard to be happy in this situation. Exactly, yeah. Unfortunately, I think Erwin would have drank the spinal fluid and turned into a pure titan just like everyone else in the military. Maybe. That would have been horrible. Oh yeah, he would have been colossal. Oh yeah. Good catch. Never mind that. But yeah. Erwin with colossal titan. Yeah, Erwin as the nuke. Jesus. And then, so I find it interesting in this, I've been talking a lot about sort of the art style, the aesthetics and how the day is passing and how that results in the color palette. I like here how after the sunset of the last episode, the sun's gone down, there's just purplish tinges, and whereas here, especially, you can see it completely fading. Just a nice progression of the color palette. And that continues into the night as we get there, but we'll get there in a second. Armin is more reluctant to unleash that power? Definitely. Thank you, Jiro-sama. Glad you enjoy the Erwin video. Oh, whose side would Erwin be on? Oh, for me, absolutely. I think he would be on the side of Hanji, Levi, etc. But that's definitely a contentious topic. Anyways, their interests align. You know, I like this expression from Peak here. Something in the eyes here. I don't know. I don't even know what it's really expressing. It's like a bit of soft sadness. It's a bit of. Hold on, let me fix the song here. It's a bit of soft sadness. It's a bit of like, why were we even maybe it sort of evokes thoughts of why were we even apart in the first place? Like, what is the root of all this? If it's come to this, why were we even fighting? I don't know. It just it's a very evocative look here that I really enjoy. This illustration for Peak here. It makes it feel like one long horrible day. Yeah, it does. That changes as the episode goes on, of course, but yeah. Levi and Erwin's relationship sort of reminds me of a darker take of Ryder and Waver's relationship. That's an interesting take. I've never heard that before, Elijah. That's kind of cool. Yeah, I agree with Luciano. There's no way he'd join the Jaegerists, in my opinion. To uphold the legacy of their comrades, and yeah, the Jaegerists are a literal tool in the story to tragically talk about how propaganda can be misinterpreted, or sentiments and ideals can be misinterpreted almost diametrically, or completely diametrically. The fact that Erwin's legacy is these Jaegerists, is Floch saying, dedicate your hearts, the people in the streets who are so anti-Marley, which we'll get into in a second, and starting to promote fascist ideals. The fact that they are the representation of Erwin's lasting legacy on the main world, the world in a broad scale, is one of the biggest tragedies in the story, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's understandable because, like I've said before, he didn't explain that this was propaganda to anyone except, like, a couple of people in the world. So it's understandable how it got misinterpreted, but we know that it is misinterpreted, and the fact that we know that his ideals have been so twisted is deeply sad to me. Tonally, I think just the tone inflected on that plot point tells you in itself what Erwin would be doing, right? But I know people disagree, etc. This is a complex story, especially with concept of avenging a mentor. True, Elijah. Her expression is probably a mix between reluctance to join forces because of what they both have done to one another, knowing it's the choice they have to make, but it doesn't sit right with her. Interesting, yeah, that's like different from what I said, but equally, definitely very valid for sure. How Erwin surviving changes Floch is another interesting what if. Absolutely. I think that I would have loved to see a hypothetical of Erwin putting Floch in his place. That would have been super, super fun to see. Yeah, I see a lot of people saying that Erwin would be leading the charge to destroy the world too, but I strongly disagree with that, personally. Sorry, what did Blaze Rage say? I think I missed it. Sorry about that. I can't find it. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. The Jaegers probably wouldn't exist if Erwin were still around. Yeah, probably. Probably. It's also interesting that the same people who say dedicate your hearts are the same people who look down on the Survey Corps and mock them pre-Shiganshina. Yeah, I mean, that's a sort of generational thing. There is a division between the 104th and other parts of the 104th, and then everyone coming after that. Floch looked down on them and kind of mocked them before. But at the same time, Floch is also, I think Floch also quite deeply respects them at the same time. Like, in the last episode, we saw the way he acted with Jean. He wasn't trying to force Jean into submission purely out of power lust or anything like that. He was doing these things because he genuinely felt like it was right for Jean at the same time. So Floch is a very interesting take on that. All you lonely characters of Attack on Titan. I wonder how different Floch would have been if Erwin did survive. Yeah, like someone was mentioning earlier, Probably quite different. Probably quite different because he wouldn't have foisted that own idea upon himself, that own responsibility of I have to bring the devil back to life, and since Erwin died, I have to find another devil. This is my cause in the world. Like, Erwin dying was essential to everything that Floch became, so he'd be totally different, I think. Yeah, we may never know how he would have taken the state of the worlds, but personally, I think he would be completely on Hanji and Levi's side. That's always what I've thought. And then we have the Morgoth Levi standoff. Really enjoyed this. We were just in the beginning of the episode Pro Pinkest. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, but this is just prior to the opening. We've just been talking a bit about Erwin, Floch, the Jaegers in general, Shinso Sasageo, a bit about Hanji, a bit about Levi. Not a ton so far. You haven't missed a ton. I like the Jaegers a lot because they reflect one of the harshest truths of life. The fact that beliefs are so difficult to pass on because of the masses misinterpreting everything you stand for. Yeah, especially in a world where propaganda is so rife, where nationalistic sentiment and ideals are kind of necessary to romanticize some of the things in war and to band people around a cause simply because you need the numbers. Again, connecting back to Erwin. So in a situation like that, it's very precarious. Ideals can easily be misinterpreted. Yeah, that's a great point, Elijah. This idea that Eren might or would definitely side with Eren in the Rumbling feels like an artificial implanted talking point. Having been in Attack on Titan discourse for a long time, it's really quite crazy how someone can just say a thing, and then the next day you see multiple other people saying the same thing, and it's just something we all have to talk about, even if it's totally unsubstantiated. Yeah, like, I don't see anything in the story that personally for me, I don't see anything in the story that, in context, would indicate that Erwin would ever go with them. People point to, like, the fact that he sacrificed people, to progress humanity further, that he said to Levi that, once all of this is done, we'll be eliminating enemies. I've seen that on Twitter, said a lot of the time. But it's like, the enemies he was talking about was not the entire world. It doesn't, like, there's nuance here. He didn't mean we're literally going to kill everyone if it comes down to it. He meant people who are trying to kill us, military. It would be Morgoth's military were the type of people he was talking about. In context, and his defining, like, act on the story. When people die, when fictional characters die in stories, a lot of the time their defining moments are the moments before death, right? We think of Niall. What defined him as a person? That in the time where he was making the choice between what to do with the last minutes of his life, he let Falco go with his family rather than having him be a prisoner or calling him out. He let Falco be with Gabby and Colt to cross that boundary between these sides. Erwin, very much the same. Like, this is a similar thing that Isayama does. Their characters' defining moments are right before their death. Porco, the mix of, that pettiness in his character, as well as that camaraderie and pride in himself and in his goal, and all of that. Colt dying, just trying to comfort his brother. Very much the same, in the same vein, Erwin's defining moment on the story, his death, was despite his selfish needs, despite everything, despite him saying that my dream is more important than humanity to, I always forget his name, the general, I always forget his name. You guys know the scene I'm talking about. Sorry, I always forget his name. But him saying that his dream would be put ahead of humanity. Despite all that, in his last moments, Zackley, yeah, Darius Zackley. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. In his last moments, what does he do? He carries forward the torch for humanity. He forgoes his dream. He forgoes that selfishness. And that is the defining moment of Levi's character, carrying forward the legacy of those before them. For the people ahead of them to carry that torch, to carry that sentiment. All that he thought about in those moments were the comrades who had been sacrificed and carrying forth the sentiment of their ideals. And the sentiment of their ideals would not have... It was not this. It was not this. Sorry, I have some things to go back on. Wasn't Annie riding somewhere than gobbling pie? We'll get there in just a second. We'll get there in just a second, Tunnel Twist, in just a minute, because she stopped by somewhere in between her and Hitch. Magath and Levi both share the same primary goal. It shouldn't be hard for them to come to an accord and form the Zeke Hater fan club. That's true. Magath took Zeke's betrayal very personally. Yeah, I've seen people use that line of Erwin's, and I just can't agree with it. Me neither. I think Erwin would definitely consider destroying everyone like Eren, but ultimately wouldn't. Interesting. A bit like Jean, then. Yeah, that's a good parallel. I think people also misinterpret Erwin sacrificing people. He leads people into battle and feels responsible for their deaths as a result because there are always casualties. But Erwin always tries to minimize deaths. Yeah, that's true. Hell, he was chosen by Keith as the next commander specifically because his strategies led to no one on his squad dying. Yeah, that's a good point. And he came up with a formation that allowed them to avoid fighting Titans to minimize casualties. Those are all great points. Because while he does sacrifices, he's not totally... Like, people think of him as reckless because his strategies are very bold, and they do involve sacrifice. But key component there, as communicated really well by Critty, is that it's about minimizing them. It's a combination of progress and the method towards that progress that will lead to the least possible casualties. It's like an internal intuitive algorithm in Zeke's mind Erwin's mind that leads him to these actions that seem reckless to an outsider and are reckless to an outsider, but are very calculated at the same time. With that in mind, and Keith saw it. Keith absolutely saw it. You can't live at all unless you pay in full. Toyama from Technolize. You always gotta put in that Technolize reference, eh? I vibe with it. Elijah. No, yeah, totally agree. In a way, Erwin had to be that type of person in order to lead the Scouts because any mission there could have been their last, yeah. Considering how much losing his comrades weighed on his heart, putting the entire world through that a million times over wouldn't really be in character. I'd like to get a closer point of view from some of the Marley characters on Zeke's betrayal. They grew up with him so far, and so far we haven't gotten that close a look into how his betrayal affected them personally. Well, we got quite a bit from Gabby. Gabby was the primary one, and her need to understand. I think we got enough from Magath, but yeah, some stuff from... I think we got a decent amount from Colt as well, through him trying to plead with him, right? Oh, thank you very much for the sub. Vibes, thank you very much for the sub. Do you want to put that towards any of the donation goals, which I just linked in chat? If you do, just let me know. But yeah, that would be kind of cool. Maybe something from Peak that could be upcoming. Who knows? Something from maybe Falco, Reiner. Wait, you can put subs into donation goals. You absolutely can, Dr. Krakow. The donation goals are just linked right there. I can link them again. You can take a look there. I've talked about them in a couple streams previously. Like, in the beginning of this stream, I talked about them. Yesterday's stream, I talked about them as well. So yeah. Erwin's blood was boiling when he saw Demo Reeves had been killed by the Interior Police to protect the oppressive regime. And anyone wants to tell me Erwin would have sided with Flock, who was shooting volunteers dead for speaking out against the Jaegers before they've, ever taken total power. Yeah. I cannot see a world in which I keep confusing the names. Erwin would have stood by that. Like, that is a lot. Like, there comes a point where it's like it loses all sense of nuance because of how extreme Flock becomes. And got it. Thank you very much, Vibes. I'll put that towards the Hunter x Hunter video. And I update, just so you guys know, I update them after every stream. So after this stream, the percentages will be updated. Anyways, so the grander, bigger goal thinking, similar to what Keith was thinking of, this we've got no other choice. Bigger picture thinking, we got to put our powers together because this is the cataclysm, this is the apocalypse, this is what's got to happen. We have the OP, then we have this shot of the rumbling continuing in the dead of night with this fog. I quite like the ambience there, and then I love this. I adore this. The snapshots of every character. Thank you for the follow, Inna and White Demon. Thank you very much for the follows, guys. And Angelox, thank you. I love this shot of Jean, because there are many things that are going through his mind right now. Firstly, the last episode, we talked about sort of how Floch is sort of appealing to the everyman in Jean, the side of him that is very human and very flawed, and who, yearns for comfort, yearns for that cozy life. And again, that whole sentiment of the fact that Jean is an admirable person, not because of the absence of cowardice, but because he overcomes his cowardice through courage. And so I think in this moment, Jean is trying to shut out a lot of things with the hands over the ears, trying to shut out just the sound of the rumbling, the horror of the situation, just trying to put himself in a happy place just for a moment, because hell, like, we know these characters could use that. Just shut it out for just a moment, just gather yourself, just find some comfort, some semblance of comfort if possible. But also, I think he's trying to shut out the ideas, the thoughts plaguing him that the things that Floch was saying, like, that did sound good, that did sound tempting. A cozy life, freedom, not having to worry, not having to be exhausted. And he knows those thoughts are wrong. They go against what he stands for, but they're so tempting that I think he's trying to shut them out. I think he's trying to shut them out here. And there's something else that it could also apply to. There are lots of layers to this, but I think I might talk about the last one in a later scene. But I just love this. Your heart really goes out to Jean here. And the shaking screen, yeah, you can't see it in the screenshots, but the screen is shaking here. He's covering his ears, pretending that the rumbling isn't happening. He could also be, to the truth of the matter, he could still be trying to convince himself that doing nothing is the right thing to do. Yeah, it could be going either way. You could be interpreting that either way, for sure. Erwin's entire goal was constantly trying to make things better for humanity, and while that was partly a selfish goal because he wanted to validate his father's beliefs, in the end he sacrificed himself along with his comrades because the future of the world was more important in the end than his own personal desires. He would never have been on board with the rumbling. Yeah, that defining moment of his, like I mentioned, is so indicative of what he would have done when the chips were down. I agree, pro Pinkist. But like I said, not everyone agrees with that. There are plenty of people who don't. It just depends, I guess. But yeah, just snapshots of all the characters in this moment. Mikasa here, it's not exactly the position, but almost reminds me a little bit of a fetal position. And then the zoom in on her eyes there, tears in her eyes. It's a lot. This is a lot. Yeah, this Jean stuff circles all the way back to his dilemma about what the fashion to join back in Season 1. Yeah, the cozy life in the interior. Or, I think it was episode 15 or 16, when everyone's moving past them and abandoning them, as Erwin said, you will die on this mission. If you become, you will likely die if you become a scout. Yeah, it all circles back to that. And he does a literal callback to Marco back later in this episode. Those words have never escaped his notice. They've been the most important words of his life, I think. The pep talk of sorts that Marco gave him, and how he wants to carry forth the faith that he had in him. It's beautiful. In Season 1, yeah, exactly, yeah. Her tears remind me of that held up in the throat cry that she just doesn't want to let out. Someone said on Twitter that it stuck with me. Yeah, It sucks so much because all these characters feel lonely in their own individual ways. They're all struggling with individual things. Connie, his mom, just being sick of all the betrayal. Jean, all the stuff we just described. Mikasa, her feelings towards Eren. Does she have a will of her own? What is going on? How does she feel about her bond towards him? Can she sever that bond for what is right? What is right? What does she want to do? Who is she? Like, this whole crisis, and then Armin feeling inadequate, feeling like he doesn't understand Eren, who he's thought he's understood his whole life, insecurities about who should have been chosen. They all have very individualized outlooks on the situation and things they're struggling with. And so the variation is so appreciated and so fresh and dynamic that even though they're all going through the same general thing, the complexion of it and how it affects them is so different, so starkly different across all of them, that they all feel alone. They all feel deeply alone, and it's very sad. And then here we have, someone was mentioning earlier about Annie. Here you can see she stops off with Hitch somewhere, but this look in her eyes, I love this expression. Very sad, like, kind of lamenting the state of the world, in my opinion. Again, you can get a lot of things from these sorts of soft expressions. That shot with everyone walking past him was very powerful. Yeah, I agree. And then snapshot of Reiner getting his beauty sleep, and these two going towards Connie and Falco. And then I really like the way this is framed, especially while looking out the window. Yeah, like, what's she looking at? Is she looking beyond thinking of her father? We're talking about Annie here. Is she looking beyond thinking about her father's safety? Is she lamenting the state of the world, the rumbling, what Eren's done, what Eren's become? Could be a bunch of things, and her looking beyond is very indicative and representative. Yeah, Propinkus, the music here is Sealed the Door from Chrono Trigger. I'll loop it again. Sealed Door from Chrono Trigger. And literally exhausted, yeah. I love the framing of this shot. It was like a pan from the side over. It just looks very attractive. I think it looks great. With Connie struggling with everything he's doing internally. You know, we've talked about the internal turmoil of Connie a lot in the past couple of episodes, so we won't dwell on it a ton, but I do think it's definitely worth discussing again, since this is the conclusion of it. Reiner looking at peace is something my cold heart could still feel warmth from. Yeah. Oh, man. Even if it's while he's asleep, yeah. Could be thinking about her role in all of this. If I was here, I would be thinking about how I played a role in the current state of affairs. True. Yeah. It could be a bunch of things. Yeah, that's a good point, Mandem. Again, that hesitance, that internal turmoil, him thinking here about how's he gonna do this? How's he actually gonna pull it off? How's he gonna get his mom to eat Falco? Like, logistically, he trusts me. He's a nice kid. He's being kind of naive here. Whereas Reiner, he's in the room where Gabby left him. Still in that room. The right of Connie is literally blue and the left is red, hitting home his internal division. Oh, interesting, yeah. Blue tinge here. Red tinge on the left, yeah. Reiner can only maybe be at peace asleep because his life is a nightmare, yeah. That's such a sad thought, only being at peace when you're asleep. Unrelated, been loving your streams and YouTube videos analyzing all these episodes. Glad to hear it, and we just hit the donation goal for the Zeke videos, so that'll be upcoming pretty soon. It won't be super new news for anyone who's been following these streams, because it will cover an idea that I've been talking about in the streams, but in a more polished way than I had talked about it previously. So hopefully you enjoyed that when it comes about, but glad you've been enjoying. And yeah, notably, like, I know it's not the same thing, but I find a parallel between him having his hands on his head here. It just draws a visual similarity with Jean here, covering his ears. You know, these two parallel each other quite a bit here through everything they're feeling, and just the body language. I just noticed that. Probably a bit of a stretch, but does he seriously trust me? He knows what he's doing is wrong, but his heart wants what his heart wants, and he seems resolved to do it. Great expressions here to nail home the general expressiveness, everything that Connie is feeling. They presented Connie really well in this final season part 2, I think. They presented him really well in voice acting, in expressiveness, all of that. And then here he says, I don't have a line here, but here he says, Sasha, would you understand? Like he plays he thinks of Sasha here. Would you understand me? And the answer to that, in my opinion, is very clearly yes. Sasha would understand you, but she would not approve. She would understand where you're coming from. She would understand what you're feeling, but at the same time, she would tell you, what are you doing? Like, this isn't you. Just like all of his other friends would say as well. Um, Despite being a manga reader, I forgot that Connie was going to mention Sasha in the scene, and it really hit hard. Yeah, I just said that. Yeah, exactly. Like he said to himself in part 1, it truly was like he lost half of himself. Yeah, he's so isolated here. I wasn't here earlier, but did you like the episode overall? Have any issues with the adaptation? I don't. Generally, I think it was probably the weakest adapted episode, but I still think it accentuated and elevated certain parts of the episode, particularly the beginning and end. The middle didn't hit as quite hard for me, Pro Pinkest. Um, but yeah, as an adaptation, it was, despite being the weakest so far, probably, I think it was fine. It wasn't bad. It elevated certain scenes, especially the Onyankopon and Jean scene, which we'll get to. Yeah, it was fine. No real issues with the adaptation. Some of the issues I have in general, we'll get to in a second with the writing more so. I love the way that he recognizes how much of a good kid Falco is. Yeah, easy to see, and it makes it all the worse for him that he's doing this to him. The way Connie's reacted seeing Annie eating shows how much he misses Sasha. Yeah, him wondering if Sasha would understand just how much her death pushed him over the edge. Yeah. Um, that's true. Parallel there with Sasha through Annie eating. I never thought about that. Not one complained for sleeping out in the forest. Yeah. Even from the first scene when he was yelling at on Yonkapon, they're taking great care with his character, and I love it. Yeah. Yeah. I think they've presented him extremely well. And then yeah, I wasn't a fan of the color palette in Ragako Village. I mean, it's daytime, so you can't really do too much of it with it. They have to show the passing of time, etc. Nonetheless, it just looked kind of bland to me. Oh, okay, we'll get back to that in a second. But just wasn't very visually interesting, kind of bland, you know. But yeah, they get here. He shows her. There was a nice moment here in this shot here where some fluid facial animations here of Connie, some sadness from Falco, and then we have this. Isayama likes to do this on occasion. This this traditionally ugly face from Connie. Um, yeah. Love that the best plan he could come up with is brushing his mom's teeth. So Connie, yeah, but also notably is that the brushes are there, like they're right there, on command, showing that he himself has been brushing her teeth over the past 4 years, which is definitely notable. Like he's been visiting her for the past 4 years, brushing her teeth. It's that is sad to me. That is very sad to me. For me, the face here doesn't quite work. I think tonally. I think if it maintained the sort of serious tone there, and he was like it was more of a desperate tone, more of yeah, can you help me brush the Titan's teeth instead of the face. That would have hit harder for me. This takes me out of it a little bit, but I'm sure people feel differently. Just a personal thing. A bit of tonal whiplash. I don't know. Never been a huge fan of that, but not a huge problem or anything. The brushing of her teeth is probably so her breath doesn't kill him when he's visiting. Fair. Like this one I'm okay with. This is more subdued. This one is like complete desperation. You still got the bits around his mouth here, but it's not as cartoonish as this to me. Yeah, he does have the brushes because he has been taking care of her. Like they were ready. He had them ready, right? Nice subtextual little storytelling there. He's been maintaining, taking care of her. I agree, but I also think Connie's just an idiot, so it makes sense to me. Yeah, I mean, Connie's always been an idiot. It does make sense, but for me, I think for the tone of the scene, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work as well as it could. I think desperation, sort of fumbling for words, sort of thing would work better tonally. But again, like I said, people will have different takes on that. Definitely understandable. He looks like a sleazy old man with that face. Yeah, Isayama's done that before with Connie. When he makes the eavesdropping pun in season 3, Return to Shiganshina. The thought of him taking care of her even as a Titan is so sad and messed up. Yeah, he brushes her teeth, maybe brushes her hair, maybe talks to her, cleans her. I don't think any of that's out of the question. Um, and then yeah, they get interrupted here. And then in this moment, we have them coming here, and he had been hesitating. Here, he literally went back on the idea of putting. Yeah, this song is such a banger. For anyone who doesn't know, this is called Layer Cake from Persona 5. So he had been struggling here internally. He had been thinking, I don't know if I can do this. He reverted to the brushing your teeth thing. In my opinion, he didn't seem right there in this moment, like he was about to actually feed Connie to his mom. I didn't think he was going to go through with it. It didn't seem that way to me. But forced with his back against the wall, the heart instinctually, impulsively reaches out for its greatest desire. In this moment, his greatest desire was nonetheless saving his mom, even though he was hesitant about it, was very reluctant about it. So it kind of forces him to follow through with that. Wait, the shadows in Connie's face deadass look like a Batman symbol. True, I suppose. Interesting observation. Yeah, the Jaeger House joke, that's exactly what I mean, the eavesdropping thing. I like this line. There's clumsiness. There's like a thank you for the follow, Yellow Beats and Santira earlier. Yeah, I guess there's a Batman symbol. And Doofier. Sorry, the pronunciation today is very bad. Thank you guys so much for the follows. Very much appreciate it. You're welcome, guys. Thank you so much, Thomas. I said this in my stream, but I think this scene shows the kind of person he is deep down. Here he's trying to think of a devious plan to feed Falco to his mom, but this toothbrush thing is the best he can this toothbrush thing is the best he can come up with. And his weird expression looks like he doesn't even believe it's going to work. It shows how honest and decent a person Connie is, because he really doesn't have it in him to do something so manipulative and insidious. Yeah, no, I totally agree with all of that. Totally, completely agree. I think that's pretty much the best way this could have gone, that portion of it. I would have preferred the execution to be a bit different, but yeah, this is very true to Connie's character, and in my opinion, it helps show the type of person he is more than anything else. His heart wants what his heart wants, but when it comes right down to it, he's just silly. He can't do it. He can't find it within himself. But then, forced to, he starts making his way there. I have doubts that he would ever have gone through with it. I still don't think he would have, but he made the action to do it back against the wall. And there's nice bits of clumsy dialogue between Connie and Armin in this scene that I think is very kind of sweet, while not really breaking tone at all, in my opinion. A know-it-all wouldn't get how idiots work. I really like that line. I said it right. Okay, got it. Doofier. Got it. The author said once he dislikes a character that lies, so I think it captures it here. Yeah. He shows, like, there is hatred, there is sort of vehemence shown towards lying and dishonesty throughout the whole series, in lots of different ways. Does he trust me? A guy like me? Yeah, a guy like me. That second line there. And this is so sad because Gabby says to him, use the Jaws power. Falco doesn't even remember. Huh? What about Galliard? The Jaws power? What are you talking about? That is so sad. He's completely blocked it out. Did someone say vehement? I did. Super sad there. And then I just took this shot because look back on the episode in this specific scene. There's really nice facial animation just randomly for Gabby here. Like it's like a 2 or 3 second scene, but animated very well. Just thought I'd draw attention to that. And then here Armin is thinking of Erwin here. Connie being torn up inside was well done, in my opinion. There's always more going on in these scenes than meets the eye. The weird face in the situation isn't weird without reason. I agree. I definitely, Critty, I'm not saying that it isn't done without reason. I'm just saying that the tonal execution of it doesn't work for me. I think there's a way to have things being done without reason in a way that doesn't, in my opinion, whiplash the tone ineffectively. Just the way I think of it. But I understand that it isn't done without reason, for sure. It's done with reason. I would never argue against that. It's just the execution. If that makes sense. This is the, Mappa Erwin. Yeah, I didn't get the shot of Mappa Erwin. I apologize. But yeah, he thinks back to Erwin there. Yeah, the Gabby animation there was really good. And the reflection in the blade here, yeah, very clean. After the realization I had last week about how this might go, I'm rather disappointed it didn't. Was the point of Gabby even being there if she wasn't going to be crucial to his decision not to do it? The person who killed Sasha and her important person that Connie would have taken away from her, just like he did to him with Sasha. It felt set up so perfectly to me. So you're kind of annoyed that there was no potential carry through with Sasha being there, the person that killed, with Gabby being there, the person who killed Sasha, and that applying? Yeah, I can get why you would have thought that. I can get why you would have thought that, and I understand what... Excuse me. I can understand why you're disappointed by that, Pro-Pinkist. She's essentially there. It's primarily Armin's scene. Whereas I love the bits of Armin we get here upcoming, I can understand wanting Gabby to have more of a role. Yeah, totally get it. And well communicated, too. Like, I totally understand where you're coming from. Can you elaborate a bit more on the whiplash of the tone? Can you explain how and why you feel that way? Well, I mean, I think I explained it. Like, it's a moment here. I don't know, it's a moment, like, this is silly. Is this not, like, this, the tone here is silly, it's cartoonish, it's over the top, right? That goes without saying. And that's not... It's getting across all the things that Critty was talking about. You know, he's just so out of his depth and trying to be malicious. He's such a good person that he comes off as completely, you know, foolish and not knowing what the hell to do. And like I said, in over his head when he tries to be malicious. It just comes off as silly. I think that the tone should have been, because when I watch this and when I read this, I get it, the tension's rising, it's a hugely conflicting moment, it's a big moment with lots of weight, and then that all completely dissipates when I see this. Maybe you don't feel that way. Maybe you do and you think it's fine. I feel that way, the tone completely dissipates, it gets completely light, and it doesn't work for me. It jerks me out of the immersion because of this face. Like I said, I think all this could have been achieved the same way with that sort of, you know, that sort of foolishness and clear honesty and Connie's inability to deceive, but just through a genuine desperation, while maintaining that darker tone, and then it being sort of opened up through the interruption of Gabby and Armin. That to me would have been more effective, more immersive. It wouldn't have taken me out of it. I don't think there needs to be this face. Like, I just think it's silly. I think it takes me out of it. That's basically the long and short of it. And I think that this could have been achieved without breaking the tone there. I can't really relate to anyone who doesn't think this isn't overblown, over the top, and silly. I think that's pretty clear. Most people will agree with that. And it just doesn't come across well for me. It doesn't work. It doesn't work very well. While at the same time, again, I need to stress being honest to Connie's character, being contributory to the writing. Like I said to Critty, totally get that. And I think Critty said it came across as worse in the anime than the manga. Yeah, Critty said that as well. So I haven't read that part in the manga a bit. Actually, it was cartoonish in the manga. Maybe it wasn't as cartoonish. Let's see if I got it here. It's pretty damn cartoonish. So yeah, take from it what you will. That's just my take on it. I like the silly toned with which the scene was executed, but just can't understand how the lack of commitment to a more serious tone when it comes to Connie's character would throw someone off. If there was any time to commit to something more serious with Connie, it would be here. I still like how it was executed. I don't really... It doesn't have to do with the tone of Connie's character as much as the tone of the scene. Just immersion, essentially. Just immersion. Not that I ever thought Connie would actually do it, but it kind of bums me out that his mini arc here was ended so easily and not with more weight. After his argument with Onyankopon, I felt like he had a shift from mere comic relief character, so it was kind of a shame to be wrapped up so quickly. I get that, Pro-Pincus, but at the same time, I still think, maybe you're not saying this, so excuse me if I'm misinterpreting. I still think that he made a shift into a genuinely very solid, quite good character here through this development. I think he definitely makes that jump, but I can understand you feeling that it was resolved too quickly, for sure. I don't see how it dissolves the tension and makes it light, because in reading the manga it's more uncomfortable. In no way implies that nothing serious will happen in this scene. Critty, again, like, you're getting the wrong things from what I'm saying here. I'm not saying that nothing serious will happen in this scene. I'm saying it broke my immersion. You don't see how it dissolves the tension and makes it light. It's just what I feel. It's just what I felt. The execution is off. In the anime, I agree it's worse. In the manga, it doesn't work for me. Like, it's silly and overblown to you that it makes you uncomfortable in the manga. I get that. I can get how you would feel that way. Personally, I don't. Personally, I don't feel that way. I think the execution just doesn't work. I think maybe if the illustrations were a bit more subtle, maybe that would work. I think maybe, like, the anime, the sound design in the anime, like, I guess tossing aside the anime, because the sound design and the tone there kind of overblows it. But yeah, like, maybe if the illustration were a bit more subtle, it would work for me. I'm sorry you don't see it. Maybe I'm not explaining right. It's just what I feel. Like, I don't know what else. I don't know how else I can dwell on this any longer, really. The people told me that this is the last good episode of Attack on Titan. Hope not. No, that is not true, Mad Attack. That is not true at all. Yeah, anyway. It's just how I feel. I think we should move on. Great shot here. Mad Attack, this is probably going to be, in my opinion, if the adaptation keeps up, this is going to be the worst. Like, every episode after this is going to be better than this one, in my opinion, if the adaptation keeps up the same sort of quality. So the opposite of what you've heard is true, in my opinion. Will there be any more big drops lore-wise? What do you mean, lore-wise? I'm not sure what you mean. TBD and Paladalap. Thank you for the follows, guys. Yeah, this looks great. And I love the desperation here from Connie. Say something, Armin. Like, again, that sort of clumsy, very genuine dialogue. I really like it. Like, this is a way to incorporate, in my opinion, this sort of dorkiness, this sort of adorable clumsiness in a way that I think complements the tone and doesn't feel jarring at all. Like, say something, Armin. You told me not to talk. What do you mean? And we knew that Armin wasn't going to die here. We knew it, but it was the weight and conviction of the act here, more than anything, that I think, nails it home. I like the eye shot here, and then Connie saves him. Yeah. I think they mean in terms of Titan Origins. Wow, excuse me, my voice. Jeez. Sorry about that. Any lore drops? Yeah, I don't want to really... Thank you, Fakar. I don't really want to spoil what's upcoming. Because there are people in the chat who are anime onlys. But, yeah. So does the bad Attack on Titan ending start in the next few chapters? Guys, Can we please get away from that? I don't want people in the chat talking about what to expect for the next few chapters, even if it's just general reception. I feel like what Isayama was trying to convey felt specific and nuanced in a way that was understandable to me, and I love Isayama's weird faces, serious humor. I feel like it overall adds something to the manga and makes me like it more, but not everyone will feel the same way. Oh well. I feel there's frustration coming from you, Critty. I'm sorry. But again, one thing that I have to stress is I love his weird faces most of the time. Like, I think every other time it's been implemented, the time in Return to Shiganshina, Yelena's face, I've complimented it all the time. It works 90% of the time for me. It just didn't work here. This is the only time I can think of where that face did not work here, or that over-the-top face didn't work. It's just one isolated incident, and I'm sorry if you're frustrated. I'm sorry if, like, I'm not communicating myself very well. It's just the way I feel. Sorry. But yeah, so please watch out for the spoilers in chat, guys. So yeah, sorry again, Critty. Maybe I just can't explain myself very well this morning. But yeah, the point I want to get across is that I love Isayama's approach. In general, just this is the one exception. These faces also mean something too. Yeah, like I said, they're not without point. They all tell you something about the character who is doing them. Like, it tells you something about Connie in Return to Shiganshina. It tells you something about Yelena, right? Yeah, it's okay, NASCAR. I don't want there to be any spoilers in the chat. And then here, very sad, Falco here is he has to learn all over again what happened to his brother. It's super sad here, and I like this shot. It's like it feels to me like this is well, it's like one of those things I mentioned earlier, that Connie panel is one of several panels, like some with Reiner or the Annie Pie, that people are like, WTF is this? And I personally can sense the intended effect, and I wouldn't want those panels changed at all. You know, I get that. And like I said, I know the intended effect. Like, I understand it. It just, the execution falls flat, while the concept itself makes tons of sense. The execution just falls flat tonally and immersion-wise for me. I love this shot because, here, I'll get rid of the camera for a second. Because here, it's like this is the symbol of the things that's been looming over Connie. We may not have had dialogue about it because we've had the time skip. We may not have dwelt upon it all that much, but it's been established that he has been caring for his mother for 4 years. He's been thinking about her, visiting her consistently. It's like this is something that's been haunting him, looming over him, and I feel that in this shot here. I really like it. I think it says a lot. And it's chilling, it's sad, it's a bunch of things. And the sad looks in Armin and Connie's faces here, tell a story of their own. We then have essentially the apex of Connie's character arc here, and why I think it's very effective in the grand scheme of things, and why it's meaningful and elevates him. Poor Falco, man, it must be so terrifying and sad to know that your brother died right in front of your eyes. Because you were transformed but not remembering it. It's probably thinking about whether or not he could have done more, but hopefully Gabby cues him in on how great and selfless he was. I hope so. She was comforting him there, so I think she was saying some words of comfort. Now, this is something maybe Critty, maybe Luciano can weigh in on. Actually, I'll get to there in a second. But because we're talking about Connie here. But yeah, when my mom sent me off, she said to be a splendid soldier, and yet her son almost killed a kid and a friend. So here, like, it comes to the point that he has been maybe hiding from, the uncomfortable point, or maybe has not been able to see. Excuse me. His mom would be resurrected over the corpse of an innocent kid. He would have to kill a kid for this. Would his mom be appreciative of that? Would she be happy to live in this world knowing that her son had done something so heinous to get her there? I think the answer is a resounding no. She wanted him to be a good person, a splendid soldier, as he says here, And then he says, like, what I did to try to get there would have undercut the whole reason I'm doing it in the first place. And he regrets it. He regrets having ever thought about it. That's the kind of soldier I am. And I like here that, I was talking about how they were isolated before. I like here that they're able to share their insecurities and drawbacks and personal hangups. Because he says this, I'm an awful soldier here. And Armin says, I couldn't stack up to the commander. Just, again, that kinship. These two have a very strong bond, and Armin here does not let Connie be alone, and through doing that, he's not alone here either. So I love the dynamic here and how the tone lightens a bit. We have that ascent, because you need ascents, you need some hope, you need some glimpses of the light. Yeah, you can't judge Connie too harshly at all. This is such a human thing for him to go through. And then he says, Armin, I want to be a soldier that my mom could take pride in. So let's go save the people in trouble. And then so this is the sort of slap in the face he needed to realize what to do. In the face and the wake of all this terror, who's the type of person he wants to be? The person his mom believed in. The person his mom believed he is. The person he really truly is at heart. And yeah, I think it elevates him. I think it substantiates him a lot and makes him a genuinely quite good character. I also didn't like how Cold to Death kind of didn't rest on Falco's face for a while and was suddenly brushed over. Oh, I think that was definitely nailed home when it happened in the first place in episode 3. Do you mean in episode 3 or here? Because he grieves over him twice. Like, he grieves over him in the moment prior towards it happening, which I think is plenty. And then right here. I don't think we needed more than that personally, but, plenty of room for disagreement, of course. His mom would also probably be forced into war. Yeah, like, that is subjecting his mom to something that she probably doesn't want at all. Holy shit! Oh my god. Okay, hold on. One second. Reminds me when Armin gave up the idea of being a good person after having to kill people in Uprising. So, Luciano, I'll get to it in a second. The thing to elaborate on. I'll get to it in a second. And the music was good too, yeah. Hold on, I need to say thank you to Datboy Chuckles in just a second. Yeah, I agree, Slapshot. Yeah, and Falco did cry his face off. Okay, so thank you so much for 10 community gift subs, Datboy Chuckles. Thank you so much. That is so generous of you. Would you like to put those goals or those subs towards any of the goals? If so, just let me know. That is 10 subs. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Super generous. You guys have been so good to me the last few streams. Thank you so much. Just let me know if you want to put those 10 subs towards anything in particular. Datboy Chuckles. The goals are right there in chat through the link. Okay, so, sorry, Luciano and Critty and anyone else in chat, anyone who's thought about the story a great deal. What's interesting is I have a friend who watches Attack on Titan as well. He's an anime only. And he said that there not being a resolution scene, or scene in general, even just a really quick one between Connie and Falco, a scene of understanding, of forgiveness from Connie, of forgiveness from Connie to Falco in this scene immediately. He would have wanted some immediate sort of resolution, rather than them just cutting and then them being okay with one another. What do you guys feel in general about that criticism? All 10 towards the Echo video. Will do. You got it. I think we might be almost, like, we got a chunk of the Echo video funded today. We got 15 subs to the Echo video. So that is a lot. It makes sense. I agree. Valid. Yeah, thank you so much again, Datboy Chuckles. I hope the Echo video, once I'm able to do it, I hope you enjoy it. But yeah, so essentially he said that, he doesn't know if maybe they'll tackle that and have a heart-to-heart later on. He doesn't know if down the line they'll do that, but he says it going from this scene where he's literally, like, hesitant, but at the same time, what's the take here? Andres, the take is that, do you agree or disagree with the criticism of this episode that Connie and Falco should have had a scene of resolution, even just a really quick one? And that, because my friend who's an anime only told me this, he said that it being a cut from this situation, this high tension situation where he is close to killing him, even though I have doubts that he would have followed through with it, to them eating and talking like it's been resolved off screen. Do you think that there should have been a scene between Connie and Falco of forgiveness, of resolution, etc.? I guess it's valid. I don't see it as something important enough to see for ourselves. I don't feel there needs to be a resolution. It's fine for them to not like each other, but still manage to be around each other due to their common goal. It's entirely believable to me that Falco forgives Connie pretty quickly. That's the type of person he is. True. He's definitely that type of person. I don't think it's needed just because they're both good-hearted people who haven't demonized their enemies like so many others. True. So it's pretty split. Like, around half the people have said it's valid, and around half the people have said it's not really needed. I feel like that's okay to feel, but I don't feel that way. Yes, it's valid, but it will drag the story for not really important stuff. Because, yeah, you can make inferences about the type of person Falco is and understand how that resolution would have come about. Falco is glad Connie is taking care of him, and Connie thinks he's such an earnest kid. Plus, Falco is super confused the whole time. I feel like he wouldn't feel resentment. I think that makes sense. Although it's kind of similar to what someone said before about Gabby not being more involved in Connie because of her killing Sasha, and it's like, yeah, at this point, every character has trauma or has wronged one another, and maybe not absolutely all aspects of that should get a moment of resolution. Okay, I see. Interesting. I was just generally curious because, like Andy says, I think what he told me was that it was more so for Connie. It would have been more so for Connie than a moment of admiration for Falco, because we know who Falco is. We know that he would forgive him, but he just would have liked the moment to just a bit of resolution. I don't know. I don't think I really agree, but I do think it's valid at the same time, for my personal thoughts. I don't really think it needs that. Not like there's much of a dynamic between them to make it worthwhile. It's like, I'm neither here nor there on it. Like, I see it. I see why people would feel that way. I see why my friend felt that way. But at the same time, I don't think it was... I think it wouldn't have been out of place. I think it could have been included, but I don't think it was necessary. Kind of similar to what Critty and Luciana were saying. And Andres is saying, like Dark Vader's saying, someone else said it as well. Demon Cyborg to an extent too. Yeah. Just thought it just a little... just kind of curious. You feel like Falco could honestly forgive Eren right now? It's unnecessary because we know enough about these characters. Yeah, I think I don't think he was saying it would be a scene to know more about these characters as much as just general natural, more of a natural flow for Connie. It would have felt more natural to him, I guess. It just felt a bit rushed, I guess. I don't know. And it would be a scene primarily more for Connie than Falco. I don't think it would be wrong to show the resolution either. Both work. Yeah, I think both could work. The way that Gabby ends up realizing they're not actually devils is deep. Yeah, we talked about that in episode 6 a couple of weeks back, yeah. That criticism at least shows an appreciation for and understanding of the context of the character based friend, not gonna lie. He is a based friend, yeah. He is a based friend. I only just met Falco last week, but if anything happened to him, I'd kill everyone in this room and then myself. It's a meme, don't freak out. Yeah, that's a meme. But yeah, I love Falco. I really love Falco. I think he's great. We'll get a sky scene, and then we move on to Mikasa and Luis. Really interesting scene here. Luis is this person who's been obsessed with Mikasa, and not even just Mikasa herself, but almost like the ideal of Mikasa. Hunter x Hunter parallels there. Love that sort of dynamic. And Mikasa's sort of held her with very strong, like contempt in some ways, or maybe that's too strong a word, but like coldness, harshness, kind of curt, kind of dismissive. Oh wow, we got some more about Falco. Falco showing him genuine understanding for what he was about to do could show him breaking the cycle of hatred by himself. Yeah, that's true. At the same time, some may think that might be a bit too much. Like, that was nailed home in previous episodes. So I could see some saying that it might be a bit heavy-handed to have so much of characters breaking that cycle of hatred. But yeah, it would work thematically. It's interesting to think of hypotheticals like that. I agree, it's the same for Levi and Annie not forgiving them since they are both working for the same goal. Yeah, I didn't expect any new characters in the final arc to contest my favorites, but Gabby and Falco is climbing more and more with the adaptation for me, manga reader. Oh, nice. Glad to hear it. Yeah, the adaptation definitely enhances my love for some of the characters. Gabby has been one of them. Falco's been one of them as well. Porco as well. Other than that, people thinking they need that is a bit of a consequence of this subplot being super fast-paced, maybe. People don't have the time to digest the scene, so a question like this arises pretty commonly. Same thing with Annie joining them again. Like, all of this makes sense, and there's not really impediment to it happening, but people ask what-ifs very easily because they don't have time to digest the scene. Super random thoughts, so sorry, but I guess that's how I feel about it. I think so, too. Like, I think a lot of these questions are a byproduct of people feeling that it's happening too fast, or people feeling that it might be too rushed, or it sort of comes together a bit too quickly, maybe, and then questions arise about resolutions for certain scenes, and yeah, it's sort of a preferential thing with regards to the pacing, I think, and how events happen. Give me that scarf, yeah. The whole Falco forgiveness hypothetical works pretty well with the Children of the Forest thing. It would be cool, but not entirely necessary. Yeah, I think that's what I agree with as well. It would make sense. It would be in place, but not needed necessarily. Definitely see where my friend was coming from. Very based friend, as Critty said. But yeah, Mikasa rocking the Ackerman drip, the Kenny stuff. Yeah. Gil says something similar things like, I would have liked to see a bit more of this, just because like everything is so interesting in Attack on Titan, and can be good given enough time to brew. And it's like, yeah, hypothetically, there are some things it could have shown to be that it would work and shouldn't show more and it would work and be good, but it's like compared to what standard? I can hardly think of any anime and manga that actively addresses so many intricacies in a story every episode and chapter, including this one. Yeah, I get what you mean. That's a good way of saying that, because every scene's so rich. What's that meme? It's so dense, so many things happening on screen. So it's like there are hypotheticals that can be thrown all over the place. Thank you for the hydrate, Veeman. About this character dynamic, seeing more of this character, just because it's all interesting and weighty and substantial. So wanting more is very natural. But yeah, like at the same time, you can understand it being more tightly focused. Gabby rubbed me the wrong way at first, but she's grown on me. Yeah, she tends to do that. I liked her from the beginning personally, but yeah. Mikasa and Luis's dynamic works very well as a parallel with Mikasa and Eren, allowing Mikasa to reflect on how much she idealized Eren once and how unrealistic that idea of Eren was in her head. Helps her understand how Eren might have felt about that idealization when they were younger. Yeah, like this is very intentionally sort of reflecting a twisted mirror on the sort of things that, sort of hang-ups and insecurities that Mikasa has about her own attitudes. But yeah, so cold to her. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind in chat. The amount of things people went through in the past couple of days, especially Mikasa, I can see why her being cold to her, and I can see why she's being cold to her, and I swear, if I was Mikasa, I would literally cosplay Shinji 2.0. It's so dense. Every image has so many things going on. Yeah, so the Attack on Titan equivalent. Okay, so yeah, Louise is this obsessed person who's taken on these Jaegerist ideals, which are diametrically opposed to what Mikasa thinks. So I think this scene's very important. I think this scene's very important for, again, that twisted mirror it reflects on Mikasa of, like, is this me? Or is this an extent or a sort of... Obviously, she's not she knows this isn't literally her, but is this similar to some things I might be thinking about, some things I've been doing and idealizing? So it's important in that way. Very cold, very hardened here. And this line is so important because Louise reflects back on this, and she was talking to Eren about this scarf that Mikasa in episode 2 had taken off to show that, maybe she hasn't come to terms with the fact that she might have to come to arms against Eren, but nonetheless, she is ready to take a stand against what he is doing. It was a huge step, taking off the scarf and leaving it there, and Louise took it to feel close to her, which is some sort of obsessive, sort of very unsavory thing that's going on there, a big misinterpretation. Louise is what a lot of people wrongfully think Mikasa is. Yeah, I agree with that. That's a good take. Yeah, she got herself killed after Mikasa saved her. Yeah. And so Eren here talks about wanting to throw the scarf out. Sorry, I just got a couple of very long messages. Let me just talk about them before getting to this scene. Sometimes people take this as a criticism that how many random two-character conversations we have had, like Levi and Mikasa, or Levi and Annie, or Armin and Floch. Just imagining a convo makes me feel like we missed something really good that may not be needed for the story. Maybe it's just how good the characters are. Yeah, that's essentially, that's what Critty was saying, I think, in a nutshell. Totally agree. Like, in any story, for me with Haikyuu, I think all the time of things, hypotheticals that I would have loved, different character dynamics that I would have loved explored, but a story has to end, a story has to have focus, it has to have momentum. So certain hypotheticals that would have been good just don't come to fruition, right? I feel that hardcore with Haikyuu a lot of the time. But yeah, it's understandable at the same time. It just shows a boundless passion for seeing more of this story, which I think is very kind of beautiful. I will try not to cry with this song in the background, by the way. People usually mention the parallels between Louise and Mikasa, who love their savior, but people tend to fail to mention the biggest difference. Mikasa was shown genuine affection by Eren, while Mikasa fulfilled her duty as a soldier way back in Season 1. Yeah, Louise is actively trying to force her way into her life, but never took into account how Mikasa might actually think. Yeah, Mikasa has constantly spurned her because she doesn't agree with what she's doing. Louise has never seen it. Louise has never seen Mikasa as a person for who she is, but has looked at this idealized perception of who she thinks she is and tried to appease that, but it just isn't her. So, huge blind spot, which I love. I love that. You guys know my fascination with Poof as a character, right? I always find it a bit funny that people are saying Gabby is the best written character in Season 4, even though she's really, really good and her arc is perfectly handled, there are so many more impressive and powerful things in Attack on Titan. I would personally say she's among the more, she's, as far as Attack on Titan goes, I think if there are scales, if there are tiers 1 to 4, I'd say she's a 3 tier, 4 being the strongest. I think she's very strong. I think she's one of the better half of aspects of Attack on Titan. But yeah, there are definitely plenty of things that I think are done that are more interesting than Gabby or done better than Gabby, but I adore her, and I don't think... I can definitely see where people are coming from when they say that, because different things resonate with you when there's this supremely written, so sublimely written, and so I think the difference is kind of negligible in that way. I don't know. So yeah, while I don't really agree that she's the most impressive or best writing in Attack on Titan, I can understand why it would resonate with people in that sort of way. The song was A Towering Cloud in Summer. Towering Cloud in Summer from Umineko. Oof, who dat? Definitely an absolutely necessary component of the season and really well executed as well. Can't imagine this part of the story without her. Oh yeah, she's very central, for sure. But yeah, I'm with Critty in that I agree there are quite a few things that are stronger than Gabby, but she herself is brilliant as well. So sorry, back to the Louise point. Let me just blow my nose for a second. Excuse me. And so back to this point. Thank you. Thank you. So the scarf has been established as the representation of the bond between, well, one of the representations of the bond between Mikasa and Eren. In some ways interpreted as a unhealthy bond, depending on who you may ask. He's gonna drown, yeah. But nonetheless, a representation of their bond, of her, in some ways, her idealization of her, but in a broad way, their connection. And so, the fact... Oh, guys, I need to talk. Thank you for the hydrates, but I need to talk. The fact that Eren is... you combine this fact with a table scene. He talked to Mikasa about wanting to throw the scarf out. Sorry, so he talked to Luis about wanting to throw... Oh my goodness. He talked to Luis about wanting to... I need to make the hydrate 1, 2, 3. I need to make the hydrate more than 100. Hold on. There we go, that's better. 250. Drunk Eldian, there's a channel... there's channel points that accrue as you watch a Twitch streamer, and you can spend them on rewards if you click on the bubble in the chat thing. One of them is hydrate, at which point I have to drink water. And these people just have nothing wrong with throwing about 250. Chill with that voice of yours. Leave some chicks for the rest of us peasants with regular voices. Thank you. I think I have a pretty... funnily enough, I used to have insecurities about my voice up until about 2017. Now I really like my voice. I think it's pretty cool. But thank you guys, because a lot of that is due to the support from people like you who say it's a nice voice. So thank you. I just mean the point and meaning behind Gabby's character growth is fairly obvious and easy to notice. That if you think that's like the best it gets, I feel like you got to be missing how much depth there is in Eren, Zeke, Reiner, Grisha, Armin, Floch. Yeah, I like... Floch was someone I was going to mention as someone who I think is better than Gabby. But, yeah. Gabby, not that Gabby is a bad choice to be someone's fave, but I feel like a lot of people favor her arc because it's one thing that's clearly understandable and meaningful thematically. Yeah, like, it's simple. Gabby is among the most simple things in the story, but at the same time among the most effective. And yeah, like, I would definitely disagree with someone who said that Gabby is the extent, like, the best writing in the series, because I can name off the top of my head 7 or 8 things within that same amount of time, at minimum, that I think are better than Gabby. But I still think Gabby's wonderful. So it's like a catch-22. We almost drowned AJ. Yeah, they did. So, this symbol of the bond between Eren and Mikasa. Eren has talked to Luis about wanting to throw it out. So you take that in tandem with the table scene. You know, I hate you. Ever since you were younger, I've hated you. I can't stand slaves, anything that isn't free, etc. Take that in tandem with the fact that, like, him very clearly pushing her away there. Take that in tandem with the fact that he's saying the symbol of their bond, the symbol of their connection, Eren wants it thrown out. Those two facts together, you did miss a Hydrate Bomb Dragonite. Those two facts together key us into something about Eren. He wants that bond with Mikasa, for some reason, to be severed. The symbol of it, he wants thrown out. He tells her he hates her. He says that she's a slave. He acts terribly towards her. So this is additive to that point. I think this is a very important thing for contextualizing Eren's mindset with regards to his relationship to Mikasa. So yeah, great little scene here, and very important. I think that unless someone really pays attention to what this means, it's easily missable. Some YouTuber has a good video on this false mask. Thank you. I think Gabby's probably the best female character, a few steps ahead of Fake Amir and Mikasa in this last arc. Gabby is my third or fourth favorite female character in Attack on Titan, and overall around top 15 or so, between 15 and 20. By the way, welcome, Black Mage with Glasses. And so yeah, this is a very important line for that reason, and you can see it right in Mikasa's eyes. She realizes how important this is, and so I think that immediately after that, she says, "Give it back." I think that's very, very important, because in this moment, she's seeing that she may be clocking what Eren is doing here, and the fact that she might be thinking he wants this bond severed for some reason makes her buy into and believe and be idealistic a bit more internally. This is my interpretation. You guys might think differently. This is what I think is going on in her mind. Might make her clock that there might be something more. Like, obviously, Eren has started the rumbling, horrible thing, all of that. But this fact may have made her think there's more to it. He's separating us for a reason. Maybe there is that Eren I've always known deep down there. And if there is, his ideals have nothing to do with what Louise stands for. In which case, give me that scarf back. You don't deserve to have anything that represents Eren. It is completely ideologically, diametrically opposed to everything that Eren stands for, and so give it back. That's something I've always thought was an aspect of this. It's a very interpretive one. You guys may not agree with that. That's what I've gotten from this scene since it was released, or since it came out, since I read it. My favorite female character in Attack on Titan is probably like Amir, Mikasa, Hanji, and then Gabby. Oh yeah, the non. Yeah, so I think mine would be. Yeah, that's what I've always thought, Luciano. It follows well with the next Mikasa scene, her reaction to the Jaegerists, exactly. Which I think that sort of cohesion there. You can see a sort of logical progress towards her reaction to the Jaegerists and how, like, coldly she looks at them. Like, you can see the malice in her face. I think the expressiveness was great. Right here, like, look at that. That is a great expression, and I think it feeds directly back to that scene with Louise. I think these scenes coalesce really well. Yeah, we'll get to it in a second, but yeah. Yet another example of Mikasa going against Eren's supposed will, but people will still say that she always obeys Eren. Yeah, yeah, and going against his will as well because he wanted to throw it out. And so she takes it. Now, we don't know what she's going to do with it. We don't know if maybe she's going to throw it out again or keep it for some reason or whatever. But all that she knows in this moment is she does not want it with someone who is so against what she believes Eren stands for, what she stands for. You know, she still harbors that bit of idealism. So yeah. Yeah, that scarf is what Eren represents to Mikasa, which is also exactly why Mikasa opposes and hates the Jaegers, because what's happening right now isn't who Eren was to her. Yeah. Exactly. That's a great way to sum it up. And she can't be 100% sure in a situation like this, but I think that little line there, a lot of processes go on in her brain there, and she sort of clocks, and it gives her a bit more hope for that possibility of who Eren is, ironically, given he's actually saying, throw away this symbol of our connection. Complex little moment there. Great little scene here. I've seen people criticize it. I don't really know why, because I think it's wonderful. It's great for Mikasa's character. It's great for Luis, who's a very, very simple not one note, but like very functional side character. Not super significant, but very defined role, and very important. And this is a great scene for both of them. I have no regrets. And I wonder, throughout this scene, I wonder what's going through Mikasa's mind, because she saved Luis. So obviously she doesn't regret saving an innocent girl and her mother and all that. But how must it feel for someone who saved someone, for them to turn into someone who they so oppose, who stands for something that she so despises? It must be a complex thing to go through, a sort of sobering thing to go through, right here. And Luis looks so gaunt here. You can tell she's on death's door. Yeah, tons of disdain on that expression. Thank you for the follow, Nushinator. Yeah, the scene makes a lot more sense to me now that we've gone into it. Great, glad to hear it. That's what I try to do in these streams, so glad to hear it. She doesn't even give her a salute. Oh yeah, of course not. I know that a lot of people don't like Mikasa's subtle character, but I personally love her so much precisely because of that. And this moment's discussion is only furthering that. Yeah, Mikasa's honestly great. Honestly a great character. We're talking about female characters. I don't tend to divide up, usually when I'm ranking characters, by gender or whatever, but if I were to, I think that, like I've said before, Gabby would be third or fourth, then it would be like, my favorite is Amir, then it would be either Mikasa or Annie, and then Gabby. It's like, it's very fluid between 2, 3, 4. It's another one of those planted talking points trying to make Mikasa look callous and machine-like for not treating Luis better. Yeah, like, I don't know. How would you expect, it would be so out of character for Mikasa to treat Luis with compassion here. It would be jarring. It would be very out of character. I wouldn't buy that at all. It would be not fitting for Mikasa, not fitting tonally, not fitting thematically, It's funny that Luis wears the scarf despite it having no significance to her as a person. Yeah, twisting the meaning of what the scarf is and represents to Mikasa and Eren. Reminds me of how, exactly what I was going to say, Drunk Eldian, when I read that. Of how Floch and the Jaegerists wear the Survey Corps uniforms despite not understanding the meaning of the Wings of Freedom. The misinterpretation of that, the twisting of Sasageo, all that stuff we talked about before, Erwin's sentiment, all that. The Jaegerists are a representation of, well, lots of things, but partly a lot of these twisted ideals, a lot of these, misinterpretations manifesting in, like I said, unsavory ways. Oh, there was a hydrate. Would like one day to see your character tier list. For Attack on Titan, I think the last episode I can do one, for sure. Or the day we talk about the ending, I can do one. I think that's better, the day we talk about the ending. Yeah, Wit did butcher a lot of Mikasa's stuff, unfortunately. Hanji's non-binary, so I wouldn't include Hanji in a female character ranking, but around 15 to 20, around the same spot as Gabby, maybe a bit lower. The scarf wouldn't really warm Louise up if she just takes it instead of having it being given to her. Yeah. For anyone not understanding the way Mikasa is, just needs to rewatch the episode of her parents being murdered in front of her and Eren saving her. Yeah, like, they do not have a relationship. It would be like, yeah, Mikasa actively, at every opportunity to build something with Louise, actively spurns it every time. They have never established a relationship. It would be like if Floch was on the bed and Eren didn't hold his hand and thank him for his service. They're not friends, yeah. It's been established very clearly Mikasa has been given the opportunity to build something with Louise and was not having it, was not interested from the start when she realized what she stood for. Do you have a VOD for your FF character tier list? I don't know. Probably on YouTube somewhere, but I don't know for sure. I think that especially this arc gives much nuance to it with the scarf scenes and how it relates to her childhood trauma. I agree, Black Mage. I agree. It's funny trying to imagine Eren giving a shit about Flock. He's exactly the reason that Flock and Eren aren't friends as to why he trusts him. So what I think about the scarf is the beauty in the cruel world that's the scarf. What that have to do with Eren? Yeah, I mean, the scarf is representative of a ton of things. Definitely one of them. A part of it is also Mikasa's gender, I believe. Excuse me. Unfortunately, there are people out there who won't like Mikasa because she's female. Sad fact of the world, but there are people. There are people. Luis helped lock Mikasa and her friends in jail, and then once they got out, Luis was like, I'm glad we can fight for the same goal again. Like, bitch. Very true. I think I have an emoji for that. Or an emote for that. Do I? Maybe not. Where's the facepalm? Yeah, there we go. Are they asking what Eren has to do with the beauty and the cruel world? No, I think they were saying that the scarf is representative of the beauty and the cruel worlds, Critty. I'm pretty sure, unless I misinterpreted. Anyways, Luis has no regrets. And then it turns to day. Like, this is clearly the morning after, maybe late morning, early afternoon. But so it shows the passage of time, and it's taken this long, nearly a day later, for all the Titans to stop stampeding. Really nails home the sheer quantity of them. I really like that. And they say, finally an end to all this noise. To me, it sounds like the bells of freedom. It worked. There you go, Dragon Knight. It also represents the freedom Eren gave to Mikasa. Yeah, it represents like 8 things. It represents a bunch of things, all of them pertaining to Eren and Mikasa. Ideas of freedom, idealism, sort of detrimental idealism, everything. We've talked about a lot of it. The scarf is a great narrative device. Can we talk about how that last Colossal Titan's dump truck? Is this it? Oh shit. Okay. I mean, there it is. Did not realize that until you pointed it out. And then we have here, Flock banding the troops together. Thank you for the follow. Sorry, Lucky followed 6 minutes ago and then gave me a hydrate. Thank you for the follow, Lucky. And then Cygnus Photon, thank you for the follow as well. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream, and thank you for the follows. I think it was the night scene first that you really see the dump truck for real. I guess I need to pay more attention to Colossal Titan's asses. All the Colossals are caked up, dude, when you see them from the side. Yeah, I guess I just was paying attention to the wrong things. On full display, damn. Sorry, guys. I failed you. I should really be paying attention to what needs to be being paid attention to. So yeah, mid-streamer fraud. I was exposed yesterday. I was exposed again today. What can I say? I've had a bad run. I become partner and downhill from there. Double cheeked up on a rumbling morning for no good reason. There's a free YouTube voice one for you guys. The dump truck is just so deep. Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. If you haven't seen the Yu-Gi-Oh video, I'm so sorry, because that, out of context, that must make no sense. Thank you, Drunk Eldian, for getting us back on track. I think one of the most notable things about Mikasa's character is that she comes to the realization about the cruel world that took other characters multiple arcs to figure out. Mikasa realized it when she had to stab the kidnapper, but it took Eren until chapter 90 at the ocean for him to realize, and it took Bertels until 78 during RTS. A lot like Levi, she's been very much aware of how the world works, and therefore she hasn't had her worldview shaken like Eren and Armin did. Yeah, that's true. She's come to a lot of the realizations that other characters have had to come to terms with much quicker. Ironically, thanks to one of the characters who takes much longer to essentially act it out, right? It's an interesting thing to think about. So thick I can taste it. I hope someone donates bits this stream. Someone please donate just 1 bit. So we have Floch having these people rally around him once again. He's very good at this. We've talked about this. I think she realizes it with her seeing the praying mantis and her father hunting the duck. Yeah, with the context of Eren saying, fight. You need to...
This is so thick I can taste it.
Thank you, 08. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Random thing I love about a favorite story. I just wanted you guys to hear that sound alert. Yeah, you didn't hear that, did you, yesterday, Luciana? Random thing I love about a favorite story. Let's just say, one thing about Attack on Titan. Jean and Floch's dynamic. Oh, you had to clip that, didn't you, Dragonite? Oh no. Can there be a donation goal for the April Fool's video, like the Tristan Taylor video for Tommy Wiseau's masterpiece, The Room? I wouldn't be able to do that well, guest. The Room speaks for itself. That was a voice line from Chaos, yep. So whenever there are bits, that comes up. Whenever there's donation, spoiler alert, it just goes, Chaos. Anyway, I have to bring this back on track. When will you release episode 5 on YouTube? Today. It's every Monday. Every Monday. So here, throughout this whole thing, Jean's expression is very unreadable, though we can try to sort of understand what his thought process might be with the context of last episode, with the context of who he is, but from an outward perspective, his expression doesn't really give much away, one way or another. And the glance with Mikasa, very, very, we were talking about this before, great glance. It's a glance of understanding, it's a glance of, like, because we know this is a glance of understanding because they have a plan in place, but it also, it just shows Mikasa's disdain for this whole thing at the same time. Beautifully drawn. My face when Jaegerist? Yeah. And then, this sort of twisting of Shinso Sasageyo continues on the sort of global ground level. The average citizens cheering. They're cheering for Eren. Let's toast to Eren. We're free. Give your hearts. What were they drinking, though? I don't know. Beer? Who knows? And then, so we know in this case they're preparing. They say we got to fill our stomachs. People, they're loading up supplies for this long mission that they're about to go on because they need rations, they need food, because they don't know how long they're going to be on this mission. So they eat here and they're loading up on food simultaneously as well. The 4 bros and Gabby. Where's the 4th one? Crazy that people were celebrating the world being wiped out. Yeah, it's again that very sort of twisted, ironic wink there from Isayama. I love that element to all this sort of thing. Yeah, exactly, Hank the Tank. Exactly. That constant sort of generational twisting. Again, from the Jaegerist faction. Spinal fluid wine. Oh dear. Probably Eren's or Floch's bathwater, good god. Without context of Jean betraying, you can interpret her, yeah, exactly, as her being disgusted at Jean, but in reality we know is towards the Jaegerists, and a look of determination to Jean, yes. So prior to the context of it, you could say maybe she's disgusted with Jean for just standing there. We know it wasn't actually aimed towards there. The 4th one's coming up soon, don't worry, true. She won't even wear the Survey Corps coat to blend in better. She just hates the Jaegerists so much. Yeah. Which have been your favorite episodes so far? My favorite adapted episode has been episode 3 of the final season. I think I've come to that conclusion. There are some screens where Eren looks quite bad, like he's drawn pretty poorly, 1 or 2, but as a whole, it's my favorite adaptation. And then we have we have this moment. We got a random on the left there. Very quick, very fluid animation as she chews the pie. Appreciate that. The infamous scene, yep. I like the scene with Connie and... Yeah, I'm about to get into that Dragonite. Yeah, exactly. Blu-ray is going to make Two Brothers a masterpiece from beginning to end. Yeah, it absolutely will. Just clean up, polish up a couple of those character models, and oh. Might be the worst moment of Attack on Titan. Yeah, this is divisive. It's fair to say. We literally have David Nader saying the worst moment in Attack on Titan, and Taketsu, Andres saying, I laughed at this scene. I quite like Isayama's humor. The scene was funnier in the manga, to be honest. Crazy that even this dumbass scene is foreshadowed by Sasha saying Annie loves eating sweet things in Season 2. Yeah, she did say that during the, I guess, reveal, I think it was? The flashback? Oh, my camera's off. Whoops. Made a gif of Annie gobbling down pie so she can do it forever. Yeah, so, and that same friend of mine said here the same thing. He had like you might predict, he had a problem, or a minor problem, with wanting there to be some, this felt, we'll talk about the Connie laugh here in a second. Wanting there to be some aspect of, also, Armin's face, look how horrified he looks here. He looks genuinely concerned here. I just find that funny. What was I gonna say? Oh, so that same friend said that he would have liked there to be a different response from Armin here, because it goes from that look of surprise to not even to just saying she's stuffing her face with pie. That was a weird jump for him, and then again a bit of a skip where they don't say anything to her, they don't say hi, they don't reunite, whatever. So he felt that a scene there would have made the experience flow better for him. So kind of a similar complaint as with the Falco scene. I'm getting a lot of people in chat instantly, so just give me a second. That was really cute. Yeah. I wish their reunion was more serious considering how long it's been. Also, the scene is too short. Yeah, it felt short in the anime to me. This scene in the manga made me laugh out loud when I saw it animated. It just felt kind of out of place. I like the sped up in animation of Annie eating. Yeah, that's some funny animation. Feels like I didn't watch an Attack on Titan episode. He's so protective over her. It's cute. It's so cute. Look at his face. He looks genuinely horrified. I love that Attack on Titan over the seasons has scenes where someone or something important is on the edge. Oh, and Critty said that this scene works on 5 levels. Feel free to share them if you want to, Critty. I'd love to say it out loud, or to read it. Where someone or something is on the edge of the scene and looks almost unimportant to where the camera's focused. This happens when Reiner revealed who he is. Yeah, who he and Bertolt were, and now again here. Also did when Eren walked in to yell at Armin and Mikasa, said earlier, I don't get what you mean by the last sentence, but there's also a similar scene where he just walks in prior to the table scene. That might be what you mean, Manta. It doesn't feel natural at all to David Nader, yeah. That's a common complaint for this scene. Connie laughing reminds me of RTS when he laughed at Shiganshi not being destroyed by Bertolt. Yeah, sans the face. So, oh, whoops. Yeah, so I think that it's great that Connie's laughing here. Firstly, because I'll get to more chat in a second. It's kind of what's needed, you know. He got determined. He got that slap in the face. It's kind of needed for him to see something here and lift his spirits and laugh and just be a little careless, get his spirits back. And also, is this not reminiscent completely of Sasha? Completely reminiscent of Sasha. So that as well is a nice little bit of a layer to it. And it's back to the old Connie we know and love. Well, some people don't love him, but I do. So I just love that this is part of Connie's ascent. It's something that kind of needed to happen. Now, people can argue about the execution. Very fair, in my opinion. But I think from a base level, this is something that I'm glad that happened. Connie laughing here. It's I like it. Yeah, acid reflex. Yeah, sorry, I'm behind in chat. It reminded Connie of Sasha. Yeah, it's also just generally funny, in contrast with what people think of Annie. I actually wanted the anime to add smaller moments with a bit more character interactions. Armin kind of has my reaction to Connie's laughter. I did not expect it at all. You were like this? You were like this? I love this face. This is so funny to me. Yeah, that's the moment you're talking about. Got it. Hey, Simsala. Glad you enjoyed the episode. I like the stuff with Hitch after this, but this part is tonally out of place. Yeah, I love the Hitch part as well. I'm going to talk about that in a second, Davinator. I'd say the same thing I said for the Falco scene. I love the scene, but it's very fast-paced, which doesn't allow people to digest what's happening, which makes people ask, what ifs? Like, there's not much wrong with the content. It's not hard to imagine these characters behaving the way they are, but the fact it's so fast can be jarring for people. Yeah, I agree with that, Luciano. Luciano sums it up better than I could have. I agree with that. And yeah, some people want Annie to actually talk here. She doesn't say a word, she just chews on her pie. Hank echoes that sort of complaint. The humor in Jujutsu Kaisen Season 1 was worse and more out of place than this, in my opinion. Oh, interesting. Another Mappa property, I guess. Yeah, Safa. By the way, Safa, I beat the Elden Ring bosses. I beat all the ones. All the ones I was having trouble with. Anyway. New reaction minute. I thought this scene was a lot more over-exaggerated than it is in the manga, which was to its detriment. Yeah, I think the anime sort of... It accentuates in both directions a lot of the things, a lot of the feels and tone in general. The editing felt weird with the scene. What was wrong with the editing, do you think? The horror in his eyes. Is he watching someone being eaten alive by a titan, or is he just defending Annie from Connie laughing at her? How's it going, Astra? Like it didn't have any time. Is that more so the pacing or the actual editing? Because I think the editing was fine. I can understand what you mean if you mean that it just flowed by too fast, in which case that would just be the pacing of the writing. I'm curious for what Critty is writing up right now. Yeah, I don't know if he might have left, though. He's either writing a big thing about why the scene works on 5 levels, or he left. One of the two. BRB gonna write a 100-tweet Twitter thread on the pie scene. If we were talking about out-of-place humor, FMAB is one of the worst offenders in that regard. Oh, that's another can of worms. You'll have all sorts of takes on FMAB humor. Personally, it's one of my least favorite things about the series, but I do think it works sometimes. Like, I don't think it's bad all the time. He looked less scared when he was about to jump in Connie's mom's mouth. True. Hey, Cygnus. How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. This is really the only scene I wasn't a huge fan of this episode. Felt jarring to me after how the last 2 episodes have been. Yeah, you're not alone. People don't enjoy this episode. This scene. It tends to be something that is pretty commonly criticized. Inosuke is my favorite, is the only thing I really genuinely enjoy about the humor in Kimetsu no Yaiba. Okay, and then so... I love this scene for Hitch. I think this is really wonderful because, Hitch has been letting things out to Annie. The shot with him laughing with eyes closed is meme material, yeah. Inosuke is funny. I think he's funny. I love this scene for Hitch because it really nails home her loneliness, her isolation. She's been talking to Annie just to have someone to talk to. She's been talking to Annie because she can't, she can't talk to anyone except for this girl encased in this crystal. She's needed to let out her feelings in some sort of way. And, you know, she's had no one to talk to in the MP, in the military police. Oh, shit. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. We'll get back to this in a second. It was foreshadowed by Sasha in season 2. Oh, yeah. So sweet set off, and that Annie has a thing for sweets, set up and payoff. Yep. Sasha also said you wouldn't expect it with her gloomy personality, which helps humanize her, which is important to her reintroduction in the story. True. Definitely a different tonal identity to Annie, and that's necessary for humanizing her and softening her up. She just woke up after 4 years and they're in crisis, so of course she's in a rush to eat and also to not get noticed. Connie's reaction to seeing a former enemy and just having a laugh is like a release of all the pent-up emotions and darkness inside him, and allows him to return to his old self when he's been very on edge all season. You even see Armin looking at him and expecting a different reaction, showing that Connie's reaction is significant, and 5, it's funny. Very nice. 4 is my favorite one there, which I kind of alluded to, I was kind of talking about, but you articulated it better. Because, yeah, Annie was an enemy last, and, like, earlier in this arc, he was talking about how sick he is of being betrayed, and I think he mentioned Annie. He mentioned Armin, Reiner, Bertolt, Eren, Onyankopon in that scene, and Annie. So he's looked at her as someone who betrayed him, as an enemy, and so his first glance at her is one of laughter, which opens things up, is a very nice ascent for his character, going back to the old Connie. Yeah, that's thanks for sharing, Gritty. That was really great. Love how you explained that. And 5, it's funny. Xenoblade Chronicles, SSJ, yeah. Attack on Titan's humor tends to be hit or miss. By the way, hi, Shadow. I don't know if I said hi to you earlier. But it felt like a miss, but that's all it was. I feel like people made too big of a deal out of a few seconds of awkward humor. Yeah, I do agree. Pie scene, greater than paths, and declaration of war. We all know. We've been new. I think I would have liked this scene if it wasn't the long-awaited reunion after 4 years. Yeah, I mean, you could also argue that reunions like this aren't always going to be momentous and grand and emotional and dramatic, right? That's just life sometimes. Attack on Titan is very natural in terms of depicting sort of real-life believable situations, and sometimes reunions aren't as dramatic or emotional as they're built up to be. Sometimes they just happen awkwardly. So I do like that aspect of it for sure. But at the same time, I get why people like Lucky here might feel like it's not satisfying payoff. But that aspect of it works for me. I think Isayama humor is pretty great for the most part, but this is just meh for me. The scene between Connie and Sasha is peak, though. That is so peak, yeah. This, for me, is, yeah, I wouldn't say it's a miss. I wouldn't say it's a hit either. It's just kind of there. It's fine for me. What what OST is that? It was Memory Lane from Attack on Titan. I was here from the start but didn't say anything until now, so don't worry. Oh, gotcha, Shadow. So yeah, Hitch. She's been feeling lonely, she's been feeling isolated, like she said. She has had to clean up the messes that Eren and Annie left behind in their wake for forever, what seems like forever. She is not happy with the way things are being run. She doesn't see eye to eye with her her comrades. She doesn't enjoy her job. She feels desolate and isolated, and she needs someone to talk to. She's previously just talked to the I guess unresponsive body of Annie, just to have someone to talk to. And that's helped quell her loneliness. Now, after the initial shock wears off, she's very happy that she has her friend back with her. Someone who can properly respond and talk to her and share things. She feels like that her loneliness has been properly quelled here, and then it gets taken away. Completely. It's almost a parallel with Zeke, very weird, abstract parallel, but the way that Zeke thinks there's a kinship between him and Eren, and it just gets swept off, like the rug gets swept out from beneath him, and what is he after all that? He's lonely. He's by himself. He's desolate. Same general structure here, lower key, of course, more understated, but it's very sad, and I think elevates Hitch quite a decent amount. Just, this is a very sad frame here. You see people cheering, talking, eating, having a great time in the back. There's a very distinct sort of loneliness that occurs when you feel lonely in a crowd. Feeling lonely in a crowd can be even in some ways more lonely than being by yourself, because you can't relate to those people around you, and it makes you feel more isolated and detached. And Hitch is alone in a crowd very much here. And who knows when, if ever, she'll have someone to confide in, someone to connect with, because Annie's left her. It's very sad to me. And yes, so she lost Marlo before, and now she's lost Annie here. Yeah, a lot of people thought the Reiner and Bertolt reveal was going to be grand and dramatic, but it was anticlimactic, and you loved it. Exotic says they loved it. I loved that aspect of it as well, yeah. The fact that there even is such a thing as Annie's eating a pie discourse controversy, I think, says something about how much people are divided up intentionally by anything and everything you can latch onto. Okay. I'm not going to say the next part, Creddy, but yeah, I get what you mean. I don't enjoy that panel that you're referring to, but like it's a minor thing that I don't dwell on nearly as much as anyone else. Hitch got a lot better in season 4, even though she hasn't been in it much. Yeah, it's very efficient sort of characterization and character building. Really good, I think. Also, Hitch argued with Marlo not to join the Survey Corps. He didn't understand her intentions and why she was trying to stop him, which the 104th called him an idiot for, besides Aaron, who didn't understand the romantic sentiment. Yeah. And then so you can see maybe a bit of subtext to why she was telling him not to join, apart from his safety and all of that, right? Buying into the propaganda. And she ended up being right. You'll write up a 5-point sum up of that panel when it comes to. I look forward to you changing my mind on it. Critty. P66, thank you for the follow and the hydrate. Thank you. You see what you don't have being alone in the crowd. Yeah. And yeah, and Hitch ended up being right about Marlo, kind of, because when it came right down to it, what was he thinking of when he was about to die? Being with her, like, or of her. And he regretted it. He regretted it. The water is done. Next time someone does a hydrate, I need to get a new one. I wonder if Hitch would have liked to go with them. That's an interesting idea. I don't think she would have been super opposed unless I'm missing something about her character. As someone who can feel isolated even at home, that scene hits me in a different kind of way. Really one of the best moments of this episode, if not the best. Yeah, it's a great scene. Yeah, I get you, Lucky. Like, kind of the complaint my friend was having. Anyways, the day continues to go by. This is like violent to my eyes. It's like a shock to my eyes. It's almost like a full 24 hours from when the rumbling started now. So the day progresses, and then we have our Flock doing his thing, right? Is Hitch in your top 20 or 30 Attack on Titan characters? Maybe 30 at a push. But I'm not sure. Damn, characters suddenly thinking of emotional and romantic attachments before they die. I'm getting a sense of deja vu, yeah. Hitch would go under quite a few minor characters for me, like Sanez. Hitch is, for me, more or less on par with Sanez. Maybe I like her a bit more than Sanez, but it's pretty much on par. Flock does look so good. He's looked great in every episode. Yeah, when Flock goes, I'm not shooting yet, we'll get to that in a second, yeah. Flock being his absolute best, yeah. Hitch is not top 20, definitely not top 20, maybe around 30, I don't know, I'd have to write it out and check. And then this is a bit more expressive from Jean, where he was a bit more, without context, a bit more unreadable earlier. This one's a bit more expressive. And then Yelena. the same way she's been, presented, completely unresponsive. Her motivations completely sucked out of her, her purpose for living sucked out of her. And what I find interesting is here, by the way, horrifying things being said by the Jaegerists here. In the end, she's a filthy Marleyan. How's it going, Holy Potato? Son as goat, I need it to be known. It is known. It is known. Yeah, I mean, in the end, she's a filthy Marleyan. Hey. I don't think Erevin would have liked that. Going back to what we were talking about earlier. And then so Floch says here, very, very key. I love the way it pans. Yeah, I didn't mention that, but I love, like, this pans up from Yelena to Floch, and he's blurred in the background, and then he comes into focus. Really well done. It isn't captured in this screenshot, but it's really well done. Really like that. No, you don't understand. These unarmed volunteers pose a great threat to the existence of Eldia. They're just protecting their country. Floch is definitely the best antagonist in this season. It's unreal. I want to punch my TV every time I see him, while also waiting for him to be done making his scene before punching him. Fair. They hit her with the reverse Uno card, but for racism. My man froze. He hasn't moved on for 40 minutes. Is Yelena right now? They call her a harlot. Yeah. In my translation, they called her something worse than that. Yeah, the continuous cycle of hatred. Exactly. It's being perpetuated by this. This is it. For as much death and violence the show has had, this part is very disturbing to see because of the things they were saying. Genuinely scary. Yeah, it's come to this point. Like, these are the things that you may have thought about happening, that maybe you think, this is the worst case scenario. It's happened. It's come to this. It's reality. It felt so real. Like, this is what real people do, most likely do when they get the upper hand. It also reflects the motive of the whole season so well. All about freedom, power, and forgiveness. Floch is the ultimate love-to-hate-him character to me. Yeah. Would y'all consider Floch to be an antagonist? Absolutely. Drunk Eldian actually made a tweet about that, and I responded to them about my take on it. Basically a sort of spiritual, thematic, tonal antagonist, very clearly to me. But yeah, so he says here, and what's really interesting here, very performative, like someone said earlier, Yelena, any last words? Making a show, very theatrical. And she says, she's lost all motivation to even live at this point. Aren't you gonna shoot? Aren't you gonna shoot? I don't give a shit. Stop talking. This is, let's get down to it. Let's get down to business. Aren't you gonna shoot? And then there, Floch goes, and then the look in her eyes again. I'm lazy to name. You can look up my tweet. Here, hold on. I might as well just find it. Since it's probably going to be a topic in chat. Oh god, I don't know if I can find it. Hold on. I don't think I can find it. Oh, here it is. I found it. Here we go. Here. So here. So this is what Drunk Eldian said. Do y'all consider Floch an antagonist? Eren the sole protagonist. And Floch is in alignment with Eren in helping him further his goals, even if they don't see eye to eye and they're not in direct opposition to one another. And I said, I always go by gut feeling about whether a character opposes the protagonist in messages, themes, and spirit in a broad, sort of general basis when weighing everything. And Floch doesn't directly oppose Eren, but he leaves such a complexion of antagonism to everything else, and the series in general, that he's definitely one for me in spirit, even if not in traditional terms. So that's basically my take on it. Definite antagonist, even if not in traditional terms, for all these reasons. Just look at the tone. Just look at the tone. Approach to him in the anime and the manga. Thank you, SSJ. Thank you very much. Has Flock moved up your antag list with the current adaptation? A little bit, probably. A little bit. Anyways, sorry, got detracted. So yeah, Yelena dead-eyed again, and she says here, aren't you gonna shoot? This shifts the power dynamic because she takes the momentum here from Flock. Thank you for the follow. I don't know if I said it, P66 and Joshua. Thank you very much. Hope you're enjoying the stream. She takes the momentum from him, and what does he do in response? Not yet. I'm not listening to her. Not yet. We will not do it yet. Glad you're enjoying the background music. Very appropriate for a trial, essentially. It's still hilarious to me how there are people that think Flock and the Aegis are right and heroic even after this scene. Yeah, he really likes being the leader. He really likes being in control. He really likes having power in this situation. And then he grunts in disappointment. Yeah. Any last words? Aren't you gonna shoot? Not yet. Never mind. It's kind of darkly humorous there. But that is so indicative of Flock. In both instances, Flock's rant gets shut down by the person he's pointing the gun at. Yeah. And then here, yeah, look at his face here. Great illustration. Flochmus Robespierre, such a showman. Robespierre. And then he points the gun at on Yankapon, saying, this person wasn't privy to what was going on, but he does not want to join us. Like Flock said in the previous episode, is submission so bad? Just join us. There's no point dying, so just join us. Phrasing it in the way that if you don't join us and are pro-genocide, you're dead. Which is a much less charitable way to phrase it, but the most accurate way to. It's essentially what Flock is saying. Thanks good. Sounds good, Elijah. Hope you enjoy work. Hope you have a good day at work. And glad you enjoyed the stream. Thanks for stopping by and sharing. Thanks for sharing your thoughts. Yeah, the subtle eyebrow lift. Right along there. Isayama's depiction of sympathetic characters amazes me. It all feels so natural and smooth within the narrative. Yeah. This is a great scene. I love when Yakapon's here as well, Mix7. Calling them out, exactly, recognize. That's why I included the dialogue here, because it's so important. Because this is what it comes down to. I feel like, in essence, Isayama is speaking through on Yankapon in this scene. He spits straight facts in literally every scene. He does. Also, this music, good God. But yeah, what he says here. So many great side characters. Onyankopon, like Andres says there, Onyankopon, Yelena, two of them right here. The emergence of Flock, Gabby, Falco, Colt, Porco, Peak, Magath, Willie, Tiber, who I'm a huge fan of. Yeah, it's not even worth sucking up to them. What a savage, yeah. I was rewatching Season 3, Part 1, and forgot how early Flock was introduced. Yeah, it's easy to forget that. But yeah, so he says, my homeland will be massacred and will be crushed and my family massacred. And the only ones left will be you xenophobic shits. Sucking up to you guys for life isn't worth it. Even you should know how insane indiscriminate killing is. Look at this situation. Look how screwed up this is. This is diabolically twisted. And he's begging them to understand that indiscriminate killing of people who pose no threat anymore is wrong. Like, this shouldn't have to be explained. And then look at the response. Is there any hesitance there? I don't see it. Just pure malice. Because of what they are, rather than anything else. It's deeply disturbing in a way. Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot. They're riveting with hatred, the same thing that caused the war in the first place, yeah. Like Udi says, what was it that stopped us from being at each other's throats? Was it violence? No. I love how Flock is just like this random dude in the Survey Corps that suddenly gains his own will after he survives the death charge. Yeah, the everyman, right? The dark side of the everyman. Fallen down, yep. I had to put it on my playlist. They hated him because he told the truth. He is refreshing. He's a refreshing character. I love the scene where he says, where Sasha says to him, "Why is your skin so dark, Onyankopon?" Such an innocent question. You know, some might respond to that tweet. I've been on Twitter far too long. Respond to that line, that question with, you know, they might be shocked or taken aback by it, or maybe even offended. But it came from a good place. It came from just general curiosity, because she had never seen someone like him before. And so he's a little shocked at first, and then he's, with the classic finger on the chin. Wouldn't it be more interesting? Because the person who created this world, whether you believe it's God or whatever you believe, thought it would be more interesting to have lots of different people. I love that. I love that scene from Onyankopon. It's so beautiful. If Sasha tweeted that she would be cancelled so quickly, very true. Twitter has rotted my brain. I am not going to tweet that. Being super offended of that scene? Yeah, I don't see how you could be offended by that scene unless it's out of context, personally. This is especially relevant because they all should have already known how terrible indiscriminate murder is. They are the ones who were surrounded by Titans for so long and were killed by them, which just paints all these pieces of shit as more monstrous, incapable of empathy and memory, yeah, and perspective, right? It's kind of funny how people still think Attack on Titan is pro-fascist even after this speech. Exactly. Look at this. Look at this. Like, how on earth? Literally, it's like it's just gotten to the point where if you think Attack on Titan is pro-fascist, like, what this scene? Just watch this scene. Like, come on. Hey, John Bams, how are you? And then Jean rings out the four shots, the signal, misses Onyankopon, and pushes Floch out of the way, and gets gobbled up by Peak. Titans are literally the embodiment of indiscriminate killing. Yeah, this is true. Onyankopon is probably the character who's taking the place of us viewers, the best in the whole post-time skip. Interesting. You think the best character of the whole post-time skip? Oh no. I think you mean representing the viewers the best. Oh, I see what you mean. A parallel with the Jaegerists and the upper class in the interior looking down on the peasants and not caring if they died. Interesting. Yeah, similar attitude for sure. Marcel parallel, yeah. Realizing he was signaling them was such a brilliant twist, yeah. Because he's like, Floch was, sorry. Yes, sorry, I got confused there for a second. But yeah, I totally agree. You can tell Hayashi likes Floch a bit too much, because when Jean pushed him, he still looked good. In the manga, he looks like a bitch. Why didn't they take Floch with them too? Floch would not benefit them in any sense. Like, having Floch along for whatever mission they're intending to progress forward with, he wouldn't be nothing but an obstacle to them. Taking him with them would not be conducive to their mission. It is a parallel, Marcel. The anime-only reactions to this scene have been great. So many reactors genuinely thought Floch shot Onyankopon. Really? That's interesting to me. My mom, who I watch with, as you guys were talking about earlier, did not for a second think that was going to happen. But Jean, she also loves Jean, so she always gives him the benefit of the doubt. Before the next scene, I literally could not believe he saved Floch from being eaten. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and he had a gun, yeah. It just wouldn't have been a smart idea to take Floch along with them. With how volatile that guy is. Because Onyankopon is on his knees handcuffed just like Erwin when he was on trial. This is true. I mean, they probably mean why not take him and kill him right after? Actually, good question, I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe during the skirmish, they might have thought he would have done something drastic. Like, in the skirmish, in the mouth, he would have shot Jean, he would have shot Onyankopon. Taking someone like that and not killing him instantly is pretty risky. So, I understand not taking him. Yeah, and the animation here was really good, as Pieck just rushes through and bashes all these soldiers on their way through. Love the animation for that. Critty's messages today have more plot twists than paths. God damn. I assumed it was for plausible deniability for Jean, in case he needs to go back to being a Jaegerist. That's a genuine explanation for it as well, for sure, yeah. Jean saving Floch is just part of the plan, right? People misinterpreted it as an actual save. Like, I don't think it was part of the plan, save Floch, part of the plan. I think it was more so he was in the way and wanted him to not be caught up in it. But the sentiment is basically the same, yeah. And Jean does not want Floch dead, to be honest. Like, regardless of how much he opposes him, in his heart of hearts, Jean does not want him dead. At least I don't think he does. As Safwa kind of alludes to. And then, yeah, signal to continue the plan. There's a huge commotion on the other side. And, sorry, what did Gord say? Yeah, we did talk about it at the beginning of the stream, Gord. You might want to go back in the VOD, because we talked about that for, like, quite a long period of time. I think it was the plan for Jean to save Floch and then get himself eaten. Oh, okay. I don't know. Is 100 intentional? Yeah, he wanted to maintain that veneer of still being on the Jaegerist side. I didn't know. I had never thought that it was part of the plan for him to save Floch. But I thought that it was part of the plan for him to still seem like this is unintentional. But okay. You guys know better than I do. Anyways. Yep, eyes on the other side of the fort, then they leave. I didn't get a shot of it, but there's a mystery person looking down at them from the window, and they say, should we stop? Whatever, someone saw us, and Armin just says, let's keep going. No real indication of who that was at this point. May play a role in the future. Also, I like this. The cart can stay a Titan for months, right? Don't you brush your teeth? Call back to the colony scene. That was kind of funny. Hanji Pieck interaction was so good, yeah. And this is the most beautiful scene in the episode by far. By far. I will not confirm or deny who the mystery person is, but you guys may have your guesses. Two teeth brushing jokes in one episode, yeah. A rude thing to ask a lady. A kind of cute interaction, I liked it. I think Jean saving Floch hides the fact that it was all a plan. Yeah, I think it could have been played off as a plan regardless, but I think that enhances the perception of it, for sure. And then this is an encapsulation of Jean, and my favorite scene in the episode, yeah. Yeah, and Hanji gets to chill around Titans and just geek out. Great for them, because they have been put through the ringer emotionally, psychologically, and yeah. But yeah, so, sorry, Onyankopon says, when did you partner with Marley? Last night they had this plan. Why? If you had stayed a Jaegerist, you could have had everything you wanted. And again, it's going back on that idea of Jean's peak, perhaps? Perhaps. I think Jean has lots of peaks in the past couple of episodes. I love him banding the troops together and being a leader, but I think this is more encapsulative of him as a character, him as a person, and sums it up in an extremely powerful way. So probably his peak. Probably his peak so far. Again, if you had been a Jaegerist, you could have had everything you wanted. That cozy life in the interior. I need to get a water bottle now. 1 second. For the hydrate. Sorry, that cozy life in the interior. 2 hydrates. And that idea that we talked about before, that that parallel with Arcane, of the comfort of the water, the comfort of doing what's easy instead of what's right, right? That is Jean's character, the core premise, the core conflict in a nutshell. And I think that, yeah, it's essentially that. Will you do what's easy? Will you do what's comfortable? Or will you stand up for what's right? Even if it's the harder decision to make, by far harder. Even if you're exhausted, even if you're at your wit's end and emotionally, physically exhausted, and it's such a struggle to go forward. Like we said before, Jean is not a great leader because of the absence of cowardice. He's not a great leader because he's this lofty symbol so far above everyone else, like someone like Levi or Erwin for differing reasons. He's a great leader because he is tempted by these things and forgoes them. And here, oh, love it. Love this shot. I gotta take my face out. My face is not important. Oh my goodness, this is so good. The most beautiful scene is the last one, the epic shot of the whole crew. Instant goosebumps. So glad you enjoyed it. That gets clowned on in the manga sometimes. This water. Look at that. Just look at that. Unreal. Onyankopon being as shocked as we were in that scene once again is true to his character, yeah. And then, yeah, we'll get to the line in just a second. Love the Marco callback, yeah. I'm usually not a fan of this typeset, but for this chapter a fan translation went, but the bones turned to ashes wouldn't forgive me for that, which I like slightly more than the official translation. However, the Crunchyroll translation is good too. The bones turned to ashes wouldn't forgive me for that. I think that's exactly what's said in the manga. Yeah, or wait, so hold on. You said a fan translation. Let me just read it really quickly. I wish I could have stayed cooped up in my room, ears shut, but if I had, the burnt ashes of the dead would never have forgiven me. That actually makes it seem more general than Marco. Like, it's talking about the burnt ashes of the dead in general, whereas the Crunchyroll translation here, it seems to be genuinely, directly referring to Marco, in my opinion. Yeah, like this shot, I adore so much. This is so beautiful. Very similar to Marcus, so it's very fitting that Jean saves him. Nice, yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean, Drunk Eldian. Mine said Ashes of the Dead. Yeah. Crunchyroll said those ashy bones. Either way, you see the sentiment. It's calling back to Marco. The most important words spoken to him in his life, I think, bar none. Marco inspiring him to be the person who consistently is able to do what's right instead of what's easy. And all of that, and he never lets go of that. He always thinks of it in the most difficult of times, and this is arguably, no, I think definitely the most difficult of times. And he's able to hold on and stay strong and stick to his sense of what's right, in large part due to the promise he made, or those ashy bones, the faith that Marco had in him. It is so beautiful here. This is why I always say that the anime subs can reveal a specific intention and nuance behind Isayama's dialogue, although the callback is still clearly understandable. Yeah, like the callback is clear, but just broader and more general. I personally actually prefer it being those ashy bones, because he's thinking very directly of Marco here, but it's very interpretive, whatever, Luciano. Oh wow. Holy shit. That is a lot. Combined with this music as well. Good. Glad they're enjoying them, Drunk Eldian. Which YouTubers, by the way? Yeah, I know in the manga it's burnt ashes. I'm saying I prefer the anime one. That is beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Luciano. Shot of the episode, though. Like this, oh, good. Good lord. This, and then this, oh, so good. Although, back in the original scene, you could see that the general in this was the original point, since he said, Marco, I can't tell which bones are yours anymore. True. True. Yeah, you could say that as well. I think it's more poetic and artistically, and thematically, in the way that Critty just said, potent in that way. I do like the pointedness of those ashy bones. It doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Thank you so much for... They're called autosave. Their discussions are already like 40 minutes long, so God save them when they get to the later stuff. Cool. Thank you so much for the sub, Omoe Kiri. Thank you so much. Would you like to put that towards any current goals? The goals are just linked right there. If you'd like to put that towards a future stream or an analysis video on YouTube, anything like that, and help fund that, you can go ahead. If not, no worries, but the link's right there. Thank you so much for the support. I very much appreciate it. Jean kisses the hand that held those bones before he fights the female titan. His relationship with Marco was beyond special. It was beyond special. It was transcendent, and it's something he never loses sight of, ever. And Onyankopon cannot understand him. He doesn't know what he means, but he's appreciative, and that's very sweet. And Yelena just looks on. Again, that water. Holy shit. Look at that water. Again, listless. Again, desolation in those eyes. Completely the same way she's been for the past few episodes. I always thought that line from Onyankopon was mad funny, but I don't know why. Yeah, it is funny on a certain way, but like, I think it's very sweet that he understands the sentiment. The lighting is so good. Yeah, this background music. For anyone wondering, this background music is called Wingless from Umineko. This is one of the best looking scenes all season, to be honest. Yeah, it is, absolutely. It looks great. Onyankopon looks so soft there. Yeah, like the softness in his expression is beautiful. By the way, AJ, I just discovered that your most watched video is a Harry Potter one. Didn't expect that. Watched it last night, it's really good. Glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, that one blew up and continues to be, like, continues to get tons of views. I've seen a lot of reactors who didn't seem to pick up on the Marco reference, which is why I think a rewatch of this series is always worth it. Oh yeah, like 4 rewatches are necessary to grasp the things that are the things that are required. Like 3 or 4 minimum, I think. Because the first time around, you'll be looking at plot details. The second time around, character stuff. The third time, more nuanced character stuff. Yeah, it is definitely a series that rewards that. And then we get the reveal that, or we learn that capturing Yelena was part of the plan because Magath wants to question her. So, interesting development there. Yeah, love how Marco's impact is carried forward even though he died off early. Yeah, his impact echoes throughout the series very, very clearly. Character deaths in this series are important long after they die. Marco's definitely one of them. 4 rewatches plus weekly discussions on Alexander's stream. Yes, you heard it here first, folks. Helps having someone on the inside who isn't likely to blow their brains out like Flock, yeah. Yeah. And then we have the classic, the cliffhanger. There's not much time, let's go. Where to? Let me move my face again. To save the world. I think this shot looks a lot better in the anime than the manga, personally. I think they prettied it up quite a lot. I think it looks pretty great. I love the light behind them. I love the way it's storyboarded, the way they're, the layout. I think the horizontality, if that's a word, really lends itself to this panel, or this shot. But the cake is missing. True. 0 out of 10. Connie's expression is so good. And yeah, I love that Connie says it. It's like the last manifestation of his ascent and mini arc throughout this point in the series. Him saying it is just super appropriate. It's very Connie. I say this because I caught a bit of Critty's VOD from yesterday, and he says it's so appropriate for Connie to say it. Totally agree. Reiner's bit of bedhead. Yeah, true. Real question time. Did Annie age? I think so. I could be wrong, though. I've seen a lot of people say this is cringe. Yeah, me too. I did watch it, yep. And I definitely agree with the sentiment that it's basically only Connie who could say something like this. It wouldn't feel as purposeful, as honest and raw and genuine if it was not Connie saying this. She aged, but she didn't grow. The reception with the anime watchers is so different than it was for the manga readers. All the anime watchers I've seen are really hyped at the gang getting together, loving the new positive reception to this scene. My mom was basically fist pumping, because she's been saying since the beginning, it would be so nice if Reiner and Armin and Mikasa, if they didn't have to be against each other, they could just be together and band together against a common cause. And notably, she didn't think that common cause would be Eren. But nonetheless, she was very excited about this, which is cool. Yeah, I think it's a cool moment. I don't think it's cringe at all. People say this is cringe. Meanwhile, most of the cast in Attack on Titan have been saving the world. Yeah, regardless, like, different complexions of what saving the world entails, right? Zeke, Reiner, Willy, Yelena, Floch, Eren in his own fucked up way. I could go on. Yeah. Have saving the world as a motivation. Yeah. Just different complexions of what that entails, or different interpretations. Connie looks like he's the leader. Yeah, he does. He does look like the leader. After the descent, we have the ascent again, which is nice because Connie is not often the leader. Like, we have Jean, who takes the forefront in episode 6. We have Mikasa often leading by example. We have Armin, who comes up with the plans. Eren, self-explanatory. Connie is not often able to take the lead, but he is here, central. And that's kind of cool. I think that's kind of cool. The 104th getting back together to slay one Titan. That is Eren. How times have changed, yeah. I think this suffers a bit because it all felt a bit rushed this episode. Yeah, that's generally what the complaint tends to be about this material. Kind of like we were alluding to earlier, like what Luciano was saying. But yeah, definitely understandable. Sorry, your name I don't know how to pronounce. Amigari? Sorry, I cannot. But yeah, I get what you mean. With the Reiner flashback in part 1. Yeah, where he wakes up, right? Before walking in, Connie wanted to make sure to stand in the middle and say this to sound cool. Yeah, he doesn't look like the leader, he is the leader. Big Connor. Yeah, I love Connie talking to Reiner here since he took his betrayal personally back in Season 2. I hope to see more of that coming up. Yeah, again, there was the thing of Annie being the enemy previously and him surpassing that boundary, reaching out past that, bigger picture thinking once again. And again, here, he's not looking here at Reiner with forgiveness in his eye at this moment. You could interpret that as a hardened resolve while still harboring ill will towards him, which is very fair. We don't know what the complexion of this is for Connie, but nonetheless, he has agreed to work together with him, which is a big step after feeling the most betrayed, or one of them. I'm not going to power scale it, but extremely betrayed is the point. So yeah, it's a big step. I'm not a native, so my English might be confusing and unusual. I can understand you, Simsala. I can understand you. Unless you were talking to someone else. There's no saving the Connie stuff pacing. If people don't like it, then there's really no helping that. But the alliance forming will be greatly benefited. Yeah, I don't want to talk too much about what to expect from future stuff, But what Drunk Geldian's saying here is essentially, yeah, like, no doubt they will clearly be conversing about some stuff, in which case, some of the formation, some of the hangups that anime-onlys may have about this could be potentially resolved going forward. Oh god, this song. Cannot play this one. But yeah, we shall see in the future ones. Connington. Imagine Reiner waking up instantly transforming. Oh dear. The next episode preview looks really good. Yeah, I did see that. That does look quite good. I like the fire, the general tone looks good. Yeah, if you saw the preview, you'll know that there is some conversations being held. All we need now are Jean and Mikasa and parents, and Levi and Hanji back. Pro Pincus has not read the manga, so it's impossible for Pro Pincus to spoil Dragonite. Truly appreciate these streams. My friends don't watch anime, so these discussions and community enhance the overall experience. So glad to hear that, Vibes. Really glad to hear that. That's what these are for. You know, I gain greater appreciation for the story through doing these streams, and I hope some of you guys do as well. It's very fun. It's very fun to do it, and it wouldn't be the same without you guys sharing your interpretations. Whether you agree with me, disagree with me, have something new to add, it's all great. The energy here is consistently great, which is not something you can say about Attack on Titan discourse in general. So I appreciate that. Oh yeah, that track. Yeah, I'm not playing Erica's track right now. I hope the voice actors go hard too. Yeah, and he kicks Reiner here. Nice little callback to them as kids, her blaming him, kicking him there. Some things never change, right? Yeah, I agree, Mix7. The Alliance, it makes sense. Like, Annie's goals naturally line up with everyone else's goals. For example, Annie just wants to protect her father. Annie wants to be with her father, excuse me. In which case, conducive to that end would be stopping the rumbling, because he's in direct danger as a result of that. So she wants to stop it. She wants to do this. Connie wants to be the good soldier, the person he wants to try and be. Armin and Mikasa, we know their situations. Gabby's done her 180. Falco, just the type of person he is. Reiner's held this motivation, and it's expanded as he's gone on. Yeah, Jean, you know, their interests completely organically align. And it's like, the stars align here. It's a coincidence, but coincidences happen in life. It's a coincidence, but it's not the word, it's not artificial, is essentially what I mean. Connie and Reiner have been through a lot. Reiner begged him, or saved him in Clash of the Titans. Connie begged them for answers, but was only able to talk to Bertolt. Then in RTS, Connie cried when he thought they'd kill Reiner. Yeah. Yeah. That's a nice moment, Connie crying for Reiner. Dialogue. Will this stream's VOD be available? They always are. They always are, Sagittario. The VODs are always available. And now that I'm a partner, which is very cool, they will be available for 60 days, 2 full months. So, no 14-day limit anymore. At least I think so. That's how it should happen. That's how it's supposed to happen. Maybe we can discuss Haikyuu Season 5 after... Oh, wait. Very nice surprise with the mood here, considering how bad it is out there. Yeah, this is our little sanctuary, where 90 to 100 minimum of us are able to talk, and I very much appreciate it. Glad to hear it, Bekar. Oh, sorry. Random thing I love about a favorite story, Channel Point Redemption from Andres. A random thing I love about Attack on Titan, the atmosphere of the Marley arc, the sort of regal atmosphere brought forth through the introduction of the Tybers, and sort of the grandness and broadness of the world opening up. That's something very specific that I love about the Marley arc, that I love how the adaptation approached it as well. What does regal mean? R-E-G-A-L? Here, let me just look up the definition, just so I can better explain it. Whoa, hold on. like magnificent or dignified, so like royalty. When I say regal, I think of royalty because the Tyburs are essentially propped up aristocrats in this society, which is something that's kind of like we've had royalty before through the king, the false king. It talks about the kings in general, but we haven't seen this in Marley specifically. We haven't seen someone like Willie or a family like Willie. We have all these occasions where people are sipping wine and people from all over the world are congregating. It just opens up the world and it has this regal atmosphere. That's just how I've always phrased it. Hopefully you understand what I mean. Contrived, yeah. Sorry, going back to what I was saying a couple minutes ago, contrived was the word I was thinking of. I like how Annie's kick to Reiner's face was gentler than usual. It's her typical attitude, but it fits her more empathetic personality after all the time she's had to reflect. True, it was a bit of a love tap. I also like Jean's line in that season 3 scene where he said, "Don't cry, we were the ones who killed them," and you could see that Jean really felt the same way. Yeah, feeling the same way, feeling that same grief, maybe internal turmoil, regret maybe, even though he knows it's, or not regret, but manifesting in a different way. I have no idea how they're going to stop Eren. It is a tall order. Make AJ watch Naruto. Whose ashy bones was Jean referring to? Yeah, Marco. Like we were just talking about that a few minutes ago. You might want to go back in the VOD if you want to see the full explanation, but yeah, the long and short of it is Marco. Gotta go back through the VOD to see the Luis and Mikasa scene. Yeah, we talked a decent amount about that too. Damn, we talked for 3 hours about this episode. Lots to talk about though. Any last thoughts you guys want to conclude with? I feel like the only one who somehow could stop Eren would be Mikasa at this point. That would be crazy though. They do have a unique relationship, that is for sure. What's your favorite Attack on Titan arc from the anime ones? In the anime, it's tough. The best adaptation, I would say, would either be Clash of Titans or Female Titan, or maybe Trost. But overall, my favorite, I guess, one of Return to Shiganshina or Marley, or War for Parity. Just pick any one of those 3. Would you prefer a part 3 or a movie? This episode is dense. It is. There's so many things going on. Would I prefer part 3 or a movie? I think for the health of the staff, I think a movie would be better. Maybe probably a superior product as well, so that's good. Though I do just like Attack on Titan in anime as a format. I do enjoy the weekly discussions. I do enjoy the flow of it. So I think there are positives and negatives. I wouldn't complain about either one. To this day, I still don't know how Isayama pulled a complete genre shift from RTS. I can't listen to this either. I'm gonna cry. From RTS to Marley, and it made it feel 100% consistent and natural. Yeah, it is seamless. It's crazy. I would have thought this would be a shorter discussion. Me too. I thought so too. I thought there would be time for Elden Ring. Crunchyroll did an oopsie. They called this both the next episode Night of the End, and I'm confused now. Oh, okay. AJ, Google the Marley hypothesis. I told you about it on the previous stream. Do you want me to do this on stream right now or on my own time, Critty? Oh. That was so crazy I coughed. That's so cool. I'll just do it on stream because it's a simple definition. The Marley hypothesis. The Marley hypothesis is a psychological theory on how racial groups may have different perceptions on the current racism in society due to a difference in their extent of knowledge and awareness of racial history. Holy shit. Sorry, my face is in the way. Here, there you go. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. That is crazy. That is crazy. And thank you so much for the sub, Dom. Thank you so much for the support. If you'd like to put that towards any one of our donation goals, You may do so. Oh crap! What did I just do? Look at the command I just did. Oh my goodness. And I did it wrong again. There we go. There we go. If you would want to put it towards any of those goals in the Google Doc, just let me know. And I will do so. Thank you so much for the sub. Every sub gets a command. Yeah, I don't even know why I did that. That was weird. But yeah, 100% intentional, I'm sure. Absolutely. This is great. Thanks for letting me know, Critty. I missed last week's discussion. Was I the only one thinking it was the weakest, most boring episode? I liked it, but it was such a come down after all the hyped ones. I disagree. I thought it was quite great as an adaptation in terms of the little touches it brought forth. But I'd recommend looking at the VOD for that, Simsala, because there's the full discussion there. We go through step by step all the things that I thought were really great. But yeah. Oh, sorry. I was caught up in the Marley hypothesis and copying. So yeah, Dom, let me know if you want to put that towards anything. Luciano, I'll get to that in a second. This has been my least favorite episode of the season so far, but still had a ton of good moments. I'm absolutely loving this part. Glad to hear it. I've seen lots of people kind of criticize it. Like, I think Tyke, I don't know if Tyke is lurking in chat, but Tyke, someone I follow on Twitter, great guy, great friend, has been criticizing it and saying that it's very stiff. You're cool with all the options? Okay, do you want to pick one, or you just want me to put it towards something random, Dom? Like, people have been saying it's stiff, it's kind of lifeless, or whatever. Tyke is an Attack on Titan hater. I couldn't disagree more. And Tyke said that actually after, I think, episode 6, which was one of the most fluid episodes. But anyway, I don't want to just mention Tyke. In case he was here, I wanted to mention him. But I don't think he is. Either way, I agree. The adaptation's been really good, I think, so far. Make you read Vagabond. I could easily do that. So sorry. One nice thing about Eren Yeager. This is pretty much manga exclusive. The subtlety in his expressions, in the most meaningful and complex moments that he reacts to. He has among the best expressions I've seen in anime and manga. Those expressions are so vital to Eren as a character for me, and I absolutely love them. So that's one thing I love about one nice thing about Eren Yeager. I agree with Tyke that the manga still feels like an experience on another level from this season, but the anime is still helping elevate specific moments and further my understanding. So sorry, Critty. Also, yes, your contributions to the episode were definitely fruitful. Thank you. I always appreciate it, Critty. Always appreciate it. Anything is fine, probably Attack on Titan related. Okay, the Zeke video is already funded. We'll just put it towards whatever. Thank you again, Tom. This was my least favorite episode too, but I don't think it was bad. And yeah, I agree, Critty, that the manga is the definitive experience. I do think certain scenes are elevated by the anime. Episode 6 entirely, in my opinion, was elevated by the anime. This last scene with Jean and Onyankopon for me was. So certain scenes here and there. But the manga is definitely, I think, for me, it is the definitive experience. The definitive version, I guess you could say. But it's the source. But nonetheless, I still think it's a good adaptation that does quite well. Does quite well. This might feel antithetical to our weekly streams, but I'm still torn on whether anime is supposed to be analyzed weekly. Consumed, yes, but scrutinized? I don't know. I mean, it's a free country, right? I don't know. I don't think there's any problem with that. Like, people are free to do what they want, right? Yeah, hopefully the Blu-ray fixes some of the expressions. His expression says when he reacts to Willie saying that he wants to fight parody after he says he was born into this world. Yeah, that is one of the best ones. Yeah. Episode 3 was the only one I thought matched up to the manga, but specific scenes in every episode have been up there. Gil dropping in with his words of wisdom, very much appreciated, Gil. Yeah, I agree. I think episodes 3 and 6 were the ones where I'd say I enjoyed more than the manga thoroughly. Everything else has been spots or scenes. Yeah, I don't want to... I brought up Tyke just as an example because I saw his tweet. But I don't really want to harp on what he said. I don't really want to dive too much into that. I was just wondering if he was lurking in the stream or wanted to say something or anything like that. Don't want to really dwell on that. But yeah, I do think part 2 is a step up on part 1 in every department, pretty much. I do agree with that. Oh, sorry, Vehement. Oh, so I have to say something in my YouTube voice. Okay. Personally, I believe that in order to quell the monstrous nature of the path Eren Yeager has taken, his friends must feed him a Snickers bar, thusly ending the cycle of hatred with the power of nutty caramel goodness. There you go. Nah, man, when I type a message in this chat, I never think differently. I can never think differently for the rest of my life. Eren in general almost feels like he has a whole nother layer to him in the manga. I do agree with that. I do agree with that. Nutty. I never noticed you did a different voice until now. Really? Really? I think it's pretty clear. That's a channel points redemption if anyone wants me to say something else. Yeah, I think 4x19 is fantastic. I love 4x19. I think it's so good. The person who did that was Vehement. Vehement did it. Thank you for... I hope those were channel points well spent. Get me to... Wow. 1,500 points just to make me say nutty again. Nutty. Good night, AJ. This stream was a lot of fun. Glad you enjoyed it, Astra. Glad you enjoyed it. Let me just quickly do the math for the sub goals, for the sub donations, because we got a ton. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to you guys for donating. Let me just update these goals quickly before I leave, because we had 15 subs for Echo, which leads to 37.5, 52%. The Echo video is at 52%. Goddamn. And then we also have 5 for the Antag video. That will be 65% now. We're getting up there for the Antag video. And 1 for the Hunter x Hunter video, which is now 27.5. Perfect. So this is the progress we got so far. Oh, let's see the clip. What do we got here? Personally, I believe that in order to quell the monstrous nature of the path Eren Yeager has taken, his friends must feed him a Snickers bar, thusly ending the cycle of hatred with the power of nutty caramel goodness. Personally, You heard it here first. Oops. I'll be able to make you watch Iron Man by the end of this Attack on Titan season. Oh, yeah. I've seen Iron Man, but I'm down to see it again. That Hunter x Hunter video, I need it. I need it too. It will get there eventually, I'm sure. How many channel points to read a light novel with that voice? None. None, I'm sorry. I want to donate towards that, but I have a feeling no one else will. Danganronpa? Oh, Ace Attorney. That's the risk you're taking, right? These ones are definitely the least popular. So just keep that in mind for donation goals. It should be noted that all these video ideas are ones that I will probably get to eventually, but it could be like a year, 18 months down the line. So this is getting me to start it now, you know? Without waiting. That nutty Hunter x Hunter goodness. Yeah, guys, Hunter x Hunter 2011's ending is a masterpiece. And in this video essay, I will explain why once it's funded. Thank you for the follows, Sagittario and Shabir. Very much appreciated. Hope you guys have enjoyed the stream today. When is Zeke? What do you mean, when is Zeke? Do you mean when will the video be released? By the way, AJ, how was the stream for FF7 Remake last Wednesday? Couldn't be here. It was good, Luciano. We talked about the plate drop. I criticized the scene itself for a couple reasons. Then we talked about the aftermath of the plate drop and why that was masterful. And we cut off, and we're going to start on Wednesday. We're going to start off at the beginning of Chapter 15, where they make the ascent to Shinra headquarters. I think we'll be done in 2 more streams, Luciano, so that'll be exciting. Oh, I didn't even see the Bokuto one. Yeah, I added a couple more ones, and no one's donated to the Bokuto one yet, but it is new. It is new. When is the Zeke video coming out? I don't know, whenever I can get it done. I wrote it out last night. Glad you did, Shabir. Do you have Hunter x Hunter post-anime content videos on your channel? Yeah, for sure, they're all there. Any videos of mine that deal with Hunter x Hunter also talk about post-anime stuff, like the Jing video, the Pariston video, the Leorio video, a lot of other things, a lot of thematic things. There are a bunch. How about 20,000 channel points to watch a YouTube video on stream like Critty has? I don't know. I don't know if I really. I guess it depends on the YouTube video, but I don't want to put a depends like a qualifier on channel points when someone cashes them in, right? Oh, glad to hear. That's very flattering, Shabir. Glad to hear it. When is Zeke? Yeah, no worries, Luciano. Where is Zeke? What did guests say? Why is Zeke? How long does it usually take to write up a video script? It depends on the length. Some of them take me literal months. The Harry Potter one someone mentioned earlier took me a month or so. The Poof video took me like 2 or 3 months. But for something like this with Zeke, which like I mentioned is like going to be a 10, 12-minute video, maybe a bit less than that, it's a very specific concept, and it's a concept I've talked about on stream a lot in the episode 4 discussion. So it's something that I've articulated already. It's very fresh in my mind. It's easier to put it down on paper or on script. So writing it out doesn't take as long. I just need to record it, edit it. I should be done it within a couple weeks, hopefully. And then it'll go up. It'll probably be not the next video to go up, but the video after that. The next video is on a different series, and it'll be out Thursday or Friday, something like that. Oh, and how did you feel about the addition, specifically where we go to the underground lab to rescue that particular character? So, Luciano, I actually did that one off stream. So where we ended was right before that, where there's that, and then there's the Leslie stuff. So I just viewed that as being a bit more drawn out for the type of analytical story playthrough I try to do with those streams. So I'm going to go over that next time, summarize it, discuss it a little bit. Kind of like I did with chapter... whatever it was, chapter 5, 6, 7, if that makes sense. This Umineko OST makes me feel so nostalgic. Me too. It's a good thing it's not Hope, because then I just erupt into tears. Shadow. Zeke's entire character could be summarized with the meme. Everyone asks, what is Zeke doing? Never, how is Zeke doing? Oh, why'd you have to say that? I just started Hunter x Hunter 2011, and I'm curious how much is the first arc indicative of the overall quality? I mean, it's indicative of its quality in that I love the entire show. I think it's an 11 out of 10, and I think the first arc is on that standard. Like, it's the baseline standard for it. It's not like a dip. But it definitely builds on and improves from there. Lots consider the Hunter exam to be one of the weaker arcs. So it's indicative of its general quality, but it definitely builds on itself and improves. Say one nice thing about Megalobox Nomad. One thing I love about a favorite story, Megalobox Nomad from Dave and Ader. One thing I love about Megalobox Nomad is the music. I don't think the tone could be really achieved in the way it is, that sort of contemplative tone, if the music wasn't as amazing as it was, and if the music didn't follow that tact as well. So One thing I love about it, the music, for accentuating that tone and approach and the themes. Okay, so I think that's about it. I envisioned this stream to last about an hour and a half to 2 hours, in which case I was going to play Elden Ring for another hour and a half or something like that. But this is about the most I can go today. So, I think this is the most I can go today. I'm pretty sure. Random thing I love about a favorite story, Lord of the Rings, Boromir. Boromir. AOT talk is serious business around here. It is. There might be a spontaneous Elden Ring stream sometime in the future. No problem, drunk Eldian. I'm sorry for anyone who was wishing for an Elden Ring stream. To update you guys, I did beat the guy I was struggling with, the huge golem, and then I was disappointed to find out that, yeah, it wasn't even a mini-boss. It was just a regular enemy. Like, I should have known because he just had the regular health bar. But nonetheless, I beat him. It's quite easy. Once you realize, Safwa, I had to do the huge swings with my two-handed weapon. Or, sorry, with my halberd, two-handed. So I beat that guy, I beat the ice guy, and I beat Godric. Very exciting. Sounds good, Dragonite. Propinkus, Safwa, thanks for the great discussion, guys. Hope to do it again next week, and Wednesday is I'll be continuing my top 100 protagonists. We're at 56 now. There we can start channel point bets if you guys are into that. So you can do that. So we'll be continuing that a little bit, and then Final Fantasy VII analytical playthrough, probably the second last of the whole thing. So we're gearing towards the end there. Let's just see if I can rate anyone. Godric was light work for real. Margit was definitely harder. Margit was definitely harder. But I love when the dragon hand thing, that was badass. Holy shit. How long do you think it will take to finish the top 100 protagonists? I don't know. It's very stream of consciousness. You want me to call your Annulus trash? Sounds good. It's very stream of consciousness. I would imagine maybe another couple of weeks. And then if the antagonist stream is funded by them, we can move into that. But yeah, let's see if I can raid a channel. Nixie Puff playing Elden Ring. Let's do that. If you guys are interested in Elden Ring, and I disappointed because I couldn't, there you go. There's a great substitute right there. Wait, one viewer ready to raid? No. What the hell's going on? We can do a quick little raid for any of you guys who are interested in your Elden Ring fix. I think she's near the beginning of it. And then we can raid. So many thanks for watching, guys. Thank you. Oh my god, I did it again. What the hell's going on? Sorry, hold on. Hold on. Okay, raid now. There we go. Many thanks for watching, guys.
Oh, listen closely, or listen carefully, skeleton. With the skeleton that's like against the wall. Alexander, thank you so much for the raid. Hello! Welcome, raiders. How do you do? How was your stream? What were you up to? Welcome. I am Nyx. I am currently experiencing Elden Ring for the first time. It's amazing. It's the best. I'm just throwing myself at this horse. It's very fun. Hello, Dragonite. Hello, Cyan. How's it going? Welcome. Please do perceive professional gameplay. Here it is. Hello, Eli, Ellie. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. Talking about Attack on Titan. Oh, well, welcome. I can provide you with quality gameplay. Watch this. We have Haunted jumps and flies like this. God, I am so behind on Attack on Titan. I hope you had a fun chat about these things. He killed you? That's about how it goes. It's okay, you'll get him next time. I believe in you. Honse, run for your— No! Don't say you must live.